Hey, it's the Friday night show with Hafeman Bros and Viking Moe.
Oh, take it away. Take it away.
Oh, the Vikings are helping the Packers out lately, so we got to bring Viking Moe on. Yay, thank you, Viking Moe. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I can turn off my video if it's too painful for you, Ben, and I understand.
No, look
Did
at
you
my
get
hair. Jesus, what happened?
Your hair is crazy. I know.
He doesn't have
It's really bad. It's
his
getting really
short.
thin. It's getting
shorter,
thin in
too.
here. It's getting thin in here.
Mm.
But we're not going to talk about that.
Do you? And Viking Moe has the official transcript of the big Viking signing, free agent signing this week. He's going to give us all the details of the surprising, shocking developments.
Well, there was another development today that was kind of not happy.
I know that one kind of sucks. Meet me at the quarterback. Meet at the quarterback.
That's right.
Meet at the quarterback.
Purple people eaters.
Perhaps once a game. Maybe I'll meet you at the quarterback. Anyway, we'll get into that. Hey,
Perhaps.
everybody, thanks for hanging out. Hey, Bernard's here. How you doing? Bernard Zero's back.
Bernard!
Zero. Woohoo! Oh, Zero. We haven't
And
heard
Zero.
from you. We'll get into it. I got one quick lump. Now, last week was the week we went all over all the Lucas Patrick stuff because he officially signed with the Bears. And we all know he's the man. And the Bears know he's the man. So congratulations, Bears. You got a good player. We're going to talk about the Bears a little bit, too, and why they're getting to be a little scary, I think.
They're kind of a little bit scary.
Yep.
I don't know. The Bears don't know maybe as much as you give them credit for because they also signed Dakota Dozier, who might be the worst guard in all of football history. So
Yeah, but he's going to have Lukey Patrick there to teach him the ropes.
Got
Maybe.
some good people there to train him up and tell him what's going on. They're also giving him a shot. He's more like a depth guy. He wasn't signed to be one of their starters. They're going after that. They put an offer sheet into that Bills guy. I can't remember his name now.
Bates,
Yeah, Bates.
they signed him.
Did it go through the Bills?
Oh,
The Bills
I don't know if the Bills counter.
Okay. So it's the Bills court. Anyway, we'll talk about that. That's offensive line. Everybody loves offensive line. How you guys all doing? Viking Moe, I don't know if you told us how you are, but you did say you're having some trouble tonight. What happened? What was going on? Dad trouble?
No,
Kids?
no. It was my microphone and speakers. They wasn't working, and I had to troubleshoot, and I troubleshooted it, but then I finally figured it out.
Okay.
I just had to unplug it and plug it back in. That's apparently all I had to do.
Every IT person that's ever worked at a company I've worked at, that's the solution.
The thing is, it didn't work the first 2 times I tried that, but the third time it did.
That's what happened to me, too.
Third time's a charm.
Crazy.
I'm not
Third
even
time's a
lying. The
charm.
same thing happened to me.
Weird. All right. Well, hey, Bernard's here. Zero's hanging out. Sorry we're late. We tried to be on time. We had technical difficulties. Sunday's your birthday. Happy birthday early, Bernard.
Oh, Bernard. Holy
birthday.
cow. He's going to be 92 years old.
Hopefully the Packers make it a good birthday for you with another big signing. We did have some subtractions. Let's talk about a couple of Packers that have been subtractions real quick. One of them was no more MVS. MVS, not a Packer. Now he's going to try to outrun Patrick Mahomes' arm instead of Aaron Rodgers' arm. And
What did you think of that contract? It was, I think 3 years, $30 million.
Well, he's a very fast guy, and he's pretty tall.
Do you wish the Packers would have paid him that and kept him?
Not necessarily. No. Okay.
You hesitated, Ben. You hesitated.
No, I didn't.
He was letting me talk.
I made
for
a dumb
second.
face and then went, no. We can draft a fast guy who can't catch. That's not a problem. They're out there.
The only reason I was saying we might need him is because, of the familiarity with Rodgers, because, you got to earn his trust before he'll throw you the ball, and that takes like 2 to 3 years. And at least MBS had that. Whereas if we get a new guy in here that's fast, he might be fast, but Rodgers might not throw it to him. So that's my only concern about that. Anyway, build trust quickly, Aaron. Adjust your trust meter, and we'll get there. Sunday, Bernard's birthday. What else we got? Be nice to Rodgers. Oh, Zero. You guys don't fight in the chat. Don't fight over Rodgers in the chat. It's fine, guys, okay? Let's see. Zero's around. He says, I'd give up A-Rod for the Ravens. Backup quarterback in a heartbeat. Yeah, Zero's still on the case.
Oh,
All
my
right,
goodness.
Zero. All right, Zero. Good job. Okay. Anyway, some of that's all going on. Mo's here. Mo, we have another defection from the Packers, and this one is what Ben was talking about. It hurts a little bit. You picked up a better cornerback than you probably had in the last 3 to 4 years, and that's our former number 6 cornerback, Shannon Sullivan. What do you think about him?
Well, they need corners. They need bodies. That's for sure. I know he. So
thanks for Captain Obvious.
I liked the signing at the position. Yeah, I'm just warming up. But in particular, they needed someone who could play the slot. So I think that he has experience doing that, and I think he played. Did he start like 10 games last year for the Packers? It was officially a start. So I don't know if they start officially 3 corners these days in the starting lineup anymore instead of 3 linebackers. But so I think he's got experience. He can play the slot. They need someone who can play the slot. I think he'd be hard pressed to do any worse than Mackenzie Alexander did for the Vikings last year in the slot. So I'm just going to assume it's an upgrade kind of by default, and we'll see. But it's a 1-year deal is what I saw that he signed. So it's kind of a prove it thing.
He's a good player. He's not great. He's not, going to blow anybody away with his size or athleticism, but he has good technique. He's smart. Usually catches the balls that are available to him as an interceptor. Good. So, I mean, he's a good player. He was a good player for the Packers. Anybody that doesn't recognize that, you weren't really paying attention.
Well, he was a really good player in 2019, and then it went down, and then last year he was pretty not good.
Well, was it that, or was it just he didn't get opportunities? Because Kenny King was back. You got opportunities?
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, all the buzz around Eric Stokes and everybody else. Come on now. Come on, Ben.
I'm just saying. He got opportunities.
Okay. All right. So Ben thinks he's on the downswing.
I think he's on the downswing.
Okay. Well, you used to be a huge Shannon Sullivan fan.
I was.
What's going on?
He's starting to play like crap. Listen, I'm just being honest. You know who else I liked a lot too? Aaron Jones.
You don't like Aaron Jones anymore?
I like him, but he's got some deficiencies in his game.
Ooh.
And the Packers need to realize what they are. I mean, I hate to say it. Listen, when he catches the ball, it takes him a while to get his body and mind ready to go. And that's how he fumbled in the NFC Championship game, because the guy hit him because he still wasn't ready to go. That's how he had to turn around and catch that deep pass at the end of the first half of the playoff game this last season before he could finally get his feet ready and start taking off. And then he decided to run into the guy instead of running out of bounds to save us some clock and or just run as fast as he can. He does dumb stuff sometimes. I love the guy. I think he's an awesome, awesome human being. And I do think he's great in the running game. And he's great in the screen game.
Discipline? Yep.
He has issues in the passing game, especially with dumb Rodgers, who throws the ball way too late. And then he has to try to adjust, and he's not ready for it because it's after the initial – because he's sitting there waiting. And by the time he gets the ball thrown his way, there's a guy in his face. Or he's got to adjust what he's doing to make the catch because Rodgers threw off his back foot like a ding-dong. So he's no Dorsey Levens. Dorsey Levens goes up. I mean, that touchdown in the NFC Championship game against the Panthers, one of the greatest catches in the history of all time, no matter what anybody says.
History of all time.
Go back and watch that catch.
It was a great catch. It was a great catch. In very adverse weather conditions.
Heck yeah.
I do want, there's some.
He was double covered on that, and the corner of the end zone. Tippy-toe grab with guy all around him.
I know.
Okay, all right. Well,
I know. I get it, and I think he was even technically fullback part of that year. Where he had to block for Edgar Bennett. No, because they had the great William. William Henderson was there.
William Henderson,
the worst 33 of all time. Okay, we got some new chatters here. Let's say hello to some new people. How are you guys doing? We got Nate here. Nate DeGreat says MVS is a fast guy who can't catch. Chris Hand is here. Says go Pack Go from NC. How you doing, Chris? Nice to see you.
Nice.
Also, Chris brings up. Oh, sorry. Nate is from Louisiana. Hey, good to see Packers fans all over the place. Mo, you're getting a lot of Packer fans from all over the country. See, you don't have the Viking stuff happening everywhere, but we got our Packer love everywhere.
It's a Packer show. Did you expect Vikings fans to come up from Kentucky?
We had Messerschmitt was on last week.
Where are your Viking people? Bring them along. You can bring them to the show. We welcome all.
Okay.
We welcome all. I welcome Bears fans to the show, but they don't come on either.
It's pretty big of you, honestly.
Of course.
Zero, we can't convert Aaron Jones to wide receiver. I just told you why we can't do that. No.
Oh, we can't. Okay.
Well, Zero had a question. He's like, could we convert Aaron Jones to wide receiver and have Dylan as the main running back? I just explained. No, he can't. No. We need,
you need
both
someone
to be in
at
the
wide
backfield.
receiver. So
You do.
Okay.
But
Moe.
Aaron Jones.
We've got 4 picks in the top 60. We're going to get a dang wide receiver or 2. I'm telling you.
because that's happened a lot recently. But
Goody
okay.
is not as dumb as he looks.
Okay.
Been making a lot of smart moves. And GM Rodgers has had a few moves, but we'll talk about that later. Let's see. Chris has a question. Are we excited that I kept Douglas? Chris is new to the show. Ben, tell him. Are we excited they kept Rasul Douglas? What?
Okay, well, Rasul Douglas is one of my top 5 Packers of all time.
All time.
After just
my
10
goodness.
games. So,
Oh my
yes,
gosh.
am I excited? He's my new favorite Packer.
Yeah, so was Aaron Jones, and now he's not even in your background anymore because you don't like how he catches out of the backfield. I mean, come on.
No, he's not in my background because I got a new computer. And
It's a little. I just think it's a little fickle, Ben.
Eric
It's a little
Gardner.
fickle. Sorry.
Eric Gardner, stop. Right
Listen.
now, answer this question. No, truth.
Okay.
Truth serum coming your
Okay.
way. If now this has never happened to the Vikings, but if you had a player like Rasul Douglas come in and make the impact for your team that guy did for our terrible defense have been bad, and you kept Kenny King off the field and all that
And
last
he
year,
single-handedly won 3 games by himself.
would
and
you
he
not
did.
would you not become an instant huge fan of said player?
Well, for sure, right?
Okay, all right.
I'm going to go back a bit
Okay, go
because
back.
it's been a while. But do you guys remember a corner named Jimmy Hitchcock
No.
for the Minnesota
No.
Vikings? So he was actually a really big part of the Minnesota Vikings 1998 season that we all know how that ended. But beside that, he was among the league lead in interceptions, and he returned 3 for touchdowns in that season. No one heard of Jimmy Hitchcock before that season.
Okay,
And no one heard of him after because it was kind of a flash in the pan thing. Now, was it a great season? Yes. Can he do it again? I don't know. And I have my own thoughts on that. We don't have to get into it now if you don't want to.
could he tackle?
Well,
Was he a
you don't
willing
have to
tackler?
tackle if you intercept the ball.
I understand that. I'm asking, is this Hitchcock guy, could he tackle? Was he a good tackler?
I guess I wouldn't brag about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 2, could he cover? Was he able to adjust his
yeah.
what he was
At
doing
least
and get
that
his
year he
hands and
could.
cover guys?
Yeah.
Okay. What about pass breakups? Was he able to get his hand in there and break up passes as well as intercept balls, or was he just taking chances and getting picks?
Well, that's the thing. That's what I think Douglas does is he takes a lot of chances.
But he doesn't.
Oh, he does.
He makes strategical, smart moves at times when he knows he has deep protection helping him.
That's how
And
it
other
worked.
times he doesn't. Watch the film, Mo, and then you will know.
That's how it
Rasul
worked
Douglas
out.
is the best tackler on the whole Packer team. And that is the truth.
And also a low bar, but I think that it's
That's
something
true.
where
That's true. That part is true, yes.
I think it's something where it worked out for him last season, right? Did they scheme well? Maybe, who knows? But I think he took a lot of chances. And I'm just wondering if after a year of tape, everyone's going to see him and they're going to double move him. They're going to do other things. And we'll just see if he can repeat it. I'm a little skeptical. And I'm also a little hopeful that
Well,
it was
here's-
just a flash in the pan.
Yeah, okay.
You're
Well,
a Viking.
I'm being honest.
My hope is they move him to the slot. And I've heard Andy Herman, who is another guy who does a very popular podcast on YouTube about the Packers.
Back a day,
He
he
said-
named it after beer. Back a day.
Yeah, he says that Rasul Douglas is not a slot corner because he's not fast enough or something, or his lateral quickness
Quick
isn't
enough.
good enough or
No.
whatever. I happen to disagree because
Of course.
our best ever slot corner, nickel corner, in the history of all time was Charles Woodson after he had slowed down a step. And he was a tackling machine and able to hold up against the run and still cover guys in the slot, including tight ends. Rasul Douglas has got a size and a makeup of Charles Woodson near the end of his career. He's very similar in size, speed, agility, tackling ability, as well as playmaking ability.
So he should play safety then. Is that what you're saying?
He would be good. A matter of
That's
fact,
what Woodson did.
When I play Madden, I actually put him at safety in my base defense, and I take Darnell Savage out. So especially in the red zone.
Oh my
Heads
gosh.
up, Darnell Savage sucks in the red zone. Anyways, but what I'm saying is, I think, and I'm hoping that the Packers don't listen to Andy Herman, and Andy Herman is wrong about this, though Andy Herman, usually I agree with a lot of the things he says, and that we can put Stokes and Jair on the outsides and have Douglas in the slot, and that will then allow him to even take more shots, though a lot of his interceptions came while he was on the outside, but whatever. I'm more worried about getting schooled in the running game. Like, what I would say is start with Douglas in the slot on first and second down, and then on third down, flip him and Jair, and put Jair in the slot in obvious passing downs with Douglas on the outside covering on obvious passing downs. I think that would be the key awesome move to do if I was a Packer coach, because it would use both Jair's at his best of his ability, because he's got speed and agility and able to cover guys in the slot, right? But he's a terrible tackler, absolutely terrible tackler. So you don't want him there on first and second down ever. Never, ever in a million years. And Stokes has zero agility. So you have to have him on the outside for sure, covering receivers. So your option is, and you want those three guys on the field on every freaking play. So your option is Douglas in the slot, nickel corner, on running downs and short distance and first down, and then Jair in the slot nickel corner on obvious passing downs. That is how the Packers should deploy those secondary, defensive back dudes. That's how you do it. And then also, Amos
So you're going to play
deep
nickel
safety.
even. You're going to play nickel even if the team comes
The
out.
Packers
with two
always
tight
play
ends?
nickel. Do you watch tape, Mo? You ever watch the games?
You can't play
Have you
nickel.
ever
when they're-
seen two linebackers on the field?
That's
No.
nickel, but yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what they do. They do four. They don't do a 3-4. They do 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and then 5 D-backs. The only time that they ever did not do that was when they played the Tennessee Titans 2 years ago in the snow game, where they actually played 3 down linemen and 2 outside linebackers and 2 inside linebackers most of the game to stop what's-his-face, Henry, the big monster guy.
Right
Most
on.
of the time, they play nickel. Most of the time.
So they don't
Last
match
year-
personnel. They don't match personnel.
They do if you add another receiver, then they'll put another guy in there.
Well, so
And his name was Kevin King, and it was really bad. Except for they would put him in the slot linebacker spot.
All right, let me ask Eric a question here, because you're fine in terms of questioning. Okay, he was never that impressive. Although we looked at statistics and we looked at his career, and he actually had some good years. He's actually been pretty good every other year. It's just that this year was like a whole new level. Now, part of that could be the scheme, could be the team, could be the fact that he was bounced around and 4 teams kicked him to the curb, and then he's like, damn, okay, and I got to get this figured out. You're welcome, Chris Sims. Anyway, and so then he went and, tuned it up for the Packers. But the other part is all the things we saw are a bunch of things that you can't necessarily teach. And he was in early, studying film, absorbing all the new coaching. Former Viking coach Jerry Gray gave him all this great insight. That's what we heard about a bunch. And he took it all in, and he processed it, and he turned it around, and he was awesome. And the other part is he signed a 3-year, $21 million contract. Is that a lot for a corner? Is that too much? That's not top corner dollars, right?
And to be honest, the last year of his deal is like a balloony year. He's only making $3 million this year and $6 million next year.
yeah, so it's like a 2-year contract.
Yeah, it is. It's a 2-year contract. So, it's not. Listen, man.
That's a reasonable deal.
Give us something, Mo. We got to be happy about something. All we've been doing is bringing our own guys back. We're not getting any guys from anybody else. It ain't
No,
like you, where you're pulling
I
the
think-
Packers away left and right, and the Bears are pulling the Packers away left and right. We're getting our guys back, and then we're losing guys.
Yeah.
So give us something to be happy about, you jerk.
Well, I think that's something to be happy about, and it's a very reasonable contract. And he obviously all he did was play well, so you just hope that can kind of continue. So, and maybe he will. Hopefully, he will. And then you get Jair back, and so I think those are positive things. Now, did they end up paying Jair yet? Do they have to extend him? Isn't he in his 5th year option right now? So he's more expensive this year, right? But so they got to do something.
Yeah,
They
but
gotta
he
work on
wants
that.
he wants to he's turning
wants
into
to- He wants to be the next top paid guy, right? But
Of
Ben
course.
top paid guy ever, top paid guy. Oh my God!
I mean,
we
what do
wanna
you think
have-
about all this, Mo? What do you
About which
think about
part?
all this diva crap? Where these
Oh.
guys, they all they want is to be the top paid guy, even though they do these contracts and it's like they're not making like it says, oh, they're averaging $30 million a year, except they're making like, 13, and then they're making 15, and then they're making 12, and then the last 2 years of the deal are where they're making like $50 million a year. Well, you're not going to make that those last 2 years. Yeah, it averages
Right.
out to be the highest paid guy at his position. It's so dumb. Those years don't count. Those years don't mean anything. There's no money involved in it. You're not going to get paid that money. It's just being touted as at one point in your life you were the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. Great, Devontae. I hope you're happy. You got that designation. Now you get to go be on the Raiders and lose to the Chargers and the Broncos and the Chiefs 6 times a year. Yay for you. What do you think, Mo? Are you watching all this crap? Who do you think? Here, more importantly, what's this? What is the best? Who's going to end up being ahead on this? The Packers and the Chiefs, who are teams that have won consistently for years and years and years and have decided, no, we're not paying the high-paid receivers. We're going to take cheaper guys and draft them or sign them or whatever. Or these teams like the Dolphins and the Raiders, who have been not the greatest in the world, and they're trading everything, all their picks, for these high-paid diva guys and giving them a crap ton of dough. Which one do you think is going to be the right move in the end?
Well, I guess it's hard to say. I can say that let's look at the Chiefs, right? So they let Hill go. He wants all this money, and instead they get MVS, who's maybe not quite as fast, but still pretty fast, similar type player. And they say, well, we have a really great quarterback, so it doesn't really matter who we throw to. So I think if you have that in your back pocket, a really great quarterback, you don't maybe have to overpay for a wide receiver, right? That makes your quarterback better because you have the quarterback to make your receivers better, right? And I think what the Packers did, while obviously I'm glad someone like Devontae Adams is not in the Packers anymore. They got quite a bit for him, I think, for a 29-year-old wide receiver, right? That they could easily replace and via the draft. I mean, I say easily by, they have the capital to hopefully select the right person. And then you save all that money, right? So I think, and they had to do that, right? Because of obviously Rodgers' contract and then they signed Tunyon, I think, and so on, and they have to sign Jair. So they obviously had the reasons to do it that way. So, and you look at like, okay, what are all the things we can do without, and what things do we really have to do? To me, it makes sense. Now, if you're like in the Bills situation, you had Josh Allen, and then you went and you got Diggs and paid him a lot of money, and it kind of made Josh Allen a little better. There's some diva things going on over there with Diggs, by the way, now too.
Yeah,
But some of that might make sense, right? But I think it just depends on how the makeup of your team looks like. I mean, the Dolphins needed someone like Hill because, I mean, Tua's not proven himself to this point. He needed more help, I think, is what their theory is. So I guess we'll see how it pans out. But I'm all for, if you don't need a guy like that, why not get a bunch of draft picks for him and save that money and spend it elsewhere? I thought it made sense for the Packers to do that.
Heck yeah.
All right, let's stay on the wide receiver train because the guys were a little bit heavy in the wide receivers a little bit in comments ago. Sorry, we couldn't get to it. We were on something else. And then we had some new comments come in. We got to get back to that. And we'll get to the Z comments and all that because we got to give Mo a hard time about Z. I mean,
well, I got Ben's top 10.
Mo.
Hey, I got a secret Ben's top 10s that's not a secret anymore.
It's not a secret.
Ben's top 10 reasons that both the Vikings and Packer fans are excited that ZaDarius Smith is now a Viking.
Okay,
I'm making the list as we speak.
It's a good teaser.
I still got some more to go, so hang on. I'll
look forward to that. Let's talk about the receivers quick and go through this because talking about Tyreek Hill. Look, Zero says this: MVS will shine on the Chiefs. Big mistake letting him go. I'm not sure. We'll find out if it's a big mistake. If they can't find another guy to add that dimension to their offense that they'll put on the field that Rodgers will allow on the field, then it could be a big mistake because their offense is way different when they had the fast guy out there to stretch.
It's a huge mistake. It's a huge mistake.
But I said this about MVS. I think he could have Pro Bowl numbers this year if he gets an opportunity to, like, if he's healthy. I think he's going to get a lot of big plays. Mahomes has enough arm to throw it to him when he beats everybody deep. I think MVS is going to have a great season as long as he can stay healthy.
Could have
So,
done that in Green Bay. I mean,
well,
Adams
he didn't
is
get the
gone.
ball. He didn't
Adams
get
is
the ball
go-
thrown to him as much in Green Bay.
Because Adams was there. He got like 17 targets a game or something ridiculous. Like, I mean, this was his chance, and that's someone that Rodgers, like Ben mentioned, was starting to trust. You know, he actually looked like he was catching the ball a little better. Maybe that's anecdotal, but you know, and maybe the bar game was low. But it's something where he was, if like you mentioned, it makes a difference to have that speed. You know, it affects how teams play you. It affects the looks that you get because they're afraid of the speed and being beat over the top. And Bernard disagrees, but it's something where. What else do you have on the team right now? You have Randall Cobb as your leading receiver from last year. They haven't re-signed Lazard yet, I don't think, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
is
he's
it-
back.
Oh, is he back? Okay.
We talked about him. He's
Okay,
got
sorry, I missed that.
limitations, and he's got limitations.
I mean, he's kind of just a guy, right?
Yep.
Lazard. I mean, he's got good size and everything, but I mean, he's not going to scare
But he
you. Like
doesn't use
MVS
it.
speed scares you,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't
So-
use his size.
So what? So and you know, there's still a lot of off-season left. There's still the drafts. There's always good things, but
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the thing. Like there's
Yeah.
there's receivers all over the place.
Well-
Listen,
These
But
guys and these guys in the chat want the Seahawks receivers. Bernard
No!
wants DK.
Listen,
Bernard wants
DK.
DK.
anybody
and
who
Zero
wants to
Lockett.
trade, why are we trading for more just diva wide? Listen, the whole point of getting rid of Devontae for draft picks is to not trade those draft picks for another diva receiver. That's stupid. Leave
Is
those
D-
idiots there. We're out of that market. We're in the market of drafting a guy and making him prove that he can do it. These
is
guys.
DK really a diva? I mean, I don't know. Is DK really a diva?
Do you think diva? You think or not diva? Do you think DK is going to want a bunch of money?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't make him a diva. That's just-
But
Well,
it's
and he
not the
wants the
point.
ball.
That's not the
Look.
point. What I'm saying
Go
is,
ahead.
why would we're trying to save money here, everybody. We're trying to put a team together because Rodgers is going to retire after this year, and then we're going to get slammed with a huge freaking salary cap smack, and we're going to have to try to put a team together with something. And luckily, we got some draft picks to do that. So we need to get guys on the cheap for the next couple years, so we don't have to do a complete rebuild, and we can just let it flow once Rodgers takes off on us, because he's gonna. He got his money. Now he's gonna go. He's gonna play 1 year, and then he's gonna be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go make out with my Clay girlfriend or whatever. And all that kind of stuff. Whatever. Clay eating girlfriend. Whatever her name is. By the way, Billy Turner might be signing back with the Broncos, so he can smoke as much pot as he wants. With it. Anyways, well, he was back. He was with the Broncos, which
He's
is
not
funny.
even going to make the team. They have
No.
so many good linemen. What the?
It's dumb. Well,
Stupid.
maybe they'll be stupid, and maybe they'll cut Quinn Miners, and then the Pack can pick him up.
Trade. Let's get him. Oh, God.
Anyways.
They should shell for 2 first-round picks.
So there's
Quinn
no
Miners.
reason. And then Julio Jones, go back and think. I've been playing fantasy football for a long time, and I suck.
Yes.
By the way.
Agreed.
But one thing I do know is this: Julio Jones is the most overrated pile of garbage I've ever heard of in my life. Most physically imposing player at wide receiver, where all he does is get a bunch of stats. That's great. How many touchdowns does that guy ever get a year? He gets like 2 touchdowns a year. He gets 86 catches and only 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. He's not been good in the red zone.
Well, what? Why would you want that? When we've had Jordy Nelson and Devontae Adams over the last 8-9 years, and they get 12, 13, 14 touchdowns a game. And a lot of it is Aaron Rodgers, yes, because he
Season,
throws
yeah.
it to them when they're still covered.
The
But
other one, a game would be a record. I'm just making
oh
sure.
yeah, a
Okay,
season,
good.
not a game.
All
Yeah.
right, okay,
But
we're
you
good.
know what I'm saying? Julio Jones sucks, everybody. And now he's even old, and he gets hurt every freaking year, and he
Yeah.
plays like half a game, and then he's done.
He's
Been doing
done.
it for 3 years.
He's
Please do not trade for Julio Jones. That's dumb. Do not trade for DK Metcalf, though he's a freak of nature, but he's going to want some dough, and we don't want to pay that, so no.
And-
Tyler Lockett is a short, fast, jitterbug receiver. We don't need that crap. We already got a couple short guys who are slow. We don't need a short guy who's fast. Screw it.
We could,
Also,
a short guy that's fast and can move. I'm okay with
we
that.
can draft a short guy who's fast.
Okay.
A matter of fact, there happens to be, well, he's not fast, but there's like a certain guy who looks pretty good from Penn State who I like a lot. I can't remember his name right now. Crap.
Must
But
love
you
him.
look
You must love him a
terrible with
ton.
names. I'm glad you're not the GM because you're so bad with names. Like, you'd be like, I want that one receiver. And then.
Well, I can
the
tell you a
pick
name
would
I
be
really
gone.
want. Aaron Parker. Let's sign him off the gosh dang practice squad of the Panthers. Son of a gun.
Panthers.
He's
Why
on
we
the
always
Panthers now.
Why we got to get our best players off other teams' practice squads? All
I don't know, but we need to. This year, he needs to be the guy we get off the practice squad so that we have a receiver who can catch the ball in the red zone. He's a red zone monster. That's all he does. He catches touchdowns in the red zone with guys hanging all over him. Jump up, grab the ball. Watch his film. He's amazing. Aaron Parker, Rhode Island wide receiver.
Different take on Julio, and that's fine. He's not. I think you say he's not garbage, not that he's hot garbage.
What?
Either way, hot garbage is one thing. Not garbage is another thing. But look,
he's due for a redemption year. He's been due for a redemption year for like 4 years. When is it going to happen, Zero?
I want to get.
Come on, man. I love you, but geez.
Chris has got an interesting question here, but
I'm going to mute myself because I'm kind of yelling a lot. And
I do want to give Viking Moe a chance to actually talk because we haven't really given him.
I got to figure out my last 2 reasons for why ZaDarius Smith is a good reason.
What's up?
Okay.
All right, Chris, we're going to get to your question in a second. We got to give Viking Moe a quick chance to talk about his Vikings and some big moves. So it's a bigger money moves. Now, number one, Viking Moe, we're going to go to ZaDarius Smith after, but the first question I want you to answer is, how does Kirk Cousins continue to just get incredibly huge guaranteed amounts of money from the Minnesota Vikings? What did you think about that move? I mean, guaranteed money. It's like,
well, that's the thing, right? It's more guaranteed. And then on top of it, I don't know if you heard about this. Sorry. Is that there's now, they added a no trade clause. Did you hear about this? So now there's a no trade clause. So he has to sign off on any trade, even if they wanted to trade him away. And so at first I'm like, I kind of lost it for a second. And then, and so did half of the Viking online community. And then just, the chat stuff just went nuts. And he's already a very polarizing guy within their own fan base and probably throughout the league, right? Because he puts up great numbers and produces, but not great at big moments, not super mobile and all these things. Is he a great leader? Do people really get behind him? He's dorky, but not like in a cool way. He's just dorky in a dorky way. He's polarizing. It's the only way I can say it, right? And then he gets more guaranteed money, and I think it's because the saving grace maybe is that there's a new coaching staff, there's a new GM, there's all these new coaches. Coming from the Rams, where they feel like they want to turn Justin Jefferson into the new Cooper Kupp, and then they got this quarterback in Matt Stafford, who a lot of similar things, right? Super talented guy who has not won, and then he goes there and wins. They think, well, we can just recreate this formula, and if we're going to be competitive, we need, a quarterback. So there's Kirk Cousins, because who else is there, right? I mean, you're not going to pay whatever it was, 5 draft picks and all that money for Watson, who might end up still having some legal things, right? And there's just not any other quarterbacks to be had. So you don't want Jameis Winston. So what are you going to do? So I think Ben's muted. That's good. So I think it's something where they decide that if we want to be competitive, we got to resign him, and we have to do it to create cap space, because he would have been a $45 million cap hit this season. So they had to do something, right? Kick it down the road where they think cap is going to increase, and that's how he got what he got. I think it's just he's been in really fortunate circumstances where he just gets paid like crazy for really have not, being really a 500 quarterback. That's what he's
59, and 2.
Yeah, that's pretty much 500, right? Yeah.
Yes. 59, and 2, and he keeps getting huge amounts of guaranteed money.
Yep.
When the quarterback movement this offseason is totally insane. Like, you could have made a move for 8 different guys this year, right? And Baker Mayfield sitting out there.
Oh, no.
Yes, we want Baker Mayfield on the Vikings. Like, bring him in too.
I don't. He's terrible. He's god
He is not terrible.
He's god awful. Did you?
Let me ask you a question, Mo. Who's a better quarterback? Who is a better quarterback between Baker Mayfield and Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins. Did you see Baker Mayfield when he played the Packers? At least I know you watched that game.
Yeah, he threw 4 picks. Douglas had 2 in every return.
He's awful all year. And the fact that if you watch Baker Mayfield even a little bit, he's a terrible quarterback.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me ask you a question.
That's why he's still sitting out there. No one wants him.
No, it's
obviously
because
they already have Watson.
People are dumb. People are dumb. Let me tell you a secret. Why do Viking fans hate Kirk Cousins so much?
Well, because he doesn't win.
Exactly.
Whether it's his fault or not.
I'll tell you why. Because the Vikings were a 500 crappy team, And they were like, we're going to get this guy, and he's going to make us better than that, except they're still a 500 crappy team.
Right.
Every year he's been there. What were the Browns before Baker Mayfield got there, Mo?
Worse than 500?
They won 1 game in 2 seasons, Mo.
You think that's – oh, come on. You think that Baker Mayfield was the difference? Or was it maybe their amazing defense? I think – or their amazing running game.
Did you watch the
games?
games?
Or their great offensive line? Because
all I know is this.
More that, not Baker.
They won 1 game in 2 seasons. They drafted Baker Mayfield. He came in, and they won like 6 games. And then the next year, they won like 8 games. And then the next year, they made the damn playoffs and beat the Steelers. And then the next year, he got hurt in week 2 and played through it, which is something that he probably shouldn't have done, but he did it. And then the Browns use it against him now because he looked bad, even though he did it for the team.
Because he is bad. He's bad.
Listen,
he has
listen,
one of the.
Would you rather have a guy who shows his wiener to all the ladies at the place or a guy who works hard? Because apparently the Browns just want wiener guy, and they don't want the guy who's crazy, who galvanizes the team.
Right. Well, so here's the thing. He has probably the best offensive line in football, 2 of the better running backs in all of football, one of the best defensive fronts in football. I mean, I think it was more than just Baker Mayfield that turned that team around, and he was horrible last year. Horrible.
Well, I'm
There's no way around it. He held them back last year.
He was a top 8 quarterback at the end of 2020 when he was healthy. I'm just saying, everybody is good and everybody is bad. I think Kirk Cousins unfairly gets criticized by the Viking fans and national media quite often. He is a top 15 quarterback in the NFL, and that's good enough to win and win in the Super Bowl as long as you give him some sort of protection. He's a very accurate passer. He makes good decisions. He just when the play doesn't work perfectly or he gets a guy in his face, he's scared to death and he looks like Tom Brady. Not the good Tom Brady, the bad Tom Brady. And that's it. And Baker Mayfield is kind of the same, except he's the opposite.
Except
when
he's shorter.
When the play's right, he don't look as good. But then when it breaks down, he runs around, does crazy crap, and then they win. Because he's the Brett Favre. He's like mini Brett Favre.
If you liked Brett Favre post the Mike Holmgren years, you should be a fan of Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Baker Mayfield.
Well, okay, that's fine.
Well, he's your new
You
Viking
were a fan of
quarterback.
Brett Favre for a little while. Anyway, let me just say this. Baker Mayfield's what is football about? Because you have all these different styles,
Winning.
different ways you can play. Kirk Cousins makes it
Winning.
look prettier and all this stuff at times, but then doesn't come through at times. And like Ben said, he struggles when the play breaks down. Mayfield's struggles when the play's right and is awesome when the play breaks down. So guess what it's equated to? Baker Mayfield is 30-30 as a starter. Kirk Cousins is 59-59-2 as a starter. They're exactly the same, even though they're exactly opposite.
Except one of them went to a 500 team, and the other one went to a team that won 1 game in 2 seasons. So you tell me who's a better quarterback. The guy who took a team that sucked completely garbage and made it a 500 team, or a guy that took a 500 team and made it a 500 team. You tell me.
It's still Kirk Cousins for me, and he has his limitations. There's no doubt.
And I'm a Kirk Cousins fan.
Baker Mayfield is just not good. He's just not. I'm sorry. He just isn't, in my opinion.
He's better than you
and
want
here's the thing.
to believe.
Last year,
listen, he's no Gardner Minshew. I'll give you that.
Okay. So last year, Kirk Cousins led three comeback. He had 3 game-winning drives. He would have had 7 if the defense didn't give up the last score of the game for him. Instead, the defense ranked 28th in the league last year. So,
well,
all the
you got ZaDarius Smith now.
All the Cousins apologists will say, well, the defense lost him a lot of games, and it's a fair thing to say. But it's also fair to say that Cousins could have done more. So,
okay, fair enough. I want to get to the other big news with Mo here, but I just wanted to point it out. Like, they're very different. Results have been the same, and both franchises have not won in a long time very consistently. So there you have it. I mean, the Vikings have win some games, but they, like Ben said, they kind of hover around.
Zero makes a great comment though, where Baker can't lift a team. And you could probably argue at this point that Cousins can't alone either, right? But I think Baker can actually drag a team down more too. It showed last year. He was awful. He lost that game against the Packers by himself.
You're holding that one against him, and Ben and I don't hold it against him because he got Rasul Douglas. in that game. Rasul Douglas tricked Baker Mayfield into those picks.
Rasul
It was
Douglas.
not his fault. He just happened to go against the greatest Packers defensive back since Tramon Williams. Sorry, bro, but that's who he is. Rasul Douglas is freaking awesome,
Rasul
and he's going to
Douglas
tear
is
it up.
freaking awesome.
He does all the things. That's the part.
All the
Eric.
things.
He tackles, which most cornerbacks
Gets
don't
away
tackle.
with holding calls to get interceptions. He
Hey,
does it all, right?
The Buccaneers do it on every damn play.
You know he did on that play.
Yeah, he did.
Even the announcer said so.
Well, that's because it was Buck and Aikman. They went on and on for like 5 minutes about a little jersey tug.
Can you believe those two morons, the money they got for
unbelievable?
I'd rather listen to Peyton
Don't
Manning.
they know everyone? Don't they? No one likes them. Don't they know that no one likes them?
ESPN
no one
is,
wants to listen to them.
Apparently, really stupid.
They're just
I don't get it.
They have great.
I'm way more excited to watch Packer games this year because now I won't have to watch those two morons 7 times a year.
Those guys have great agents too. They must have the same agent as Kirk Cousins. All right, Mo. ZaDarius Smith, big signing. Let's get to it. You guys asked about Z before. ZaDarius Smith, Eric Gardner, a new member of the Vikings. How do you feel?
Well, at first, I was like, because I watched the film, because I think I was on the show with you guys that time where you showed the film where he's just coasting and getting blocked by not just wide receivers, like scrawny wide receivers. And
Robert Woods. Like, I said, don't play Robert Woods.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, oh man, because here's the thing. 2 sides of it, right? It looks like a huge contract. It's not. It's kind of like what Ben alluded to earlier. It's one of those. It's really a 1-year deal with a 1-year option, but it says it's a 3-year deal because he only hits like 3.1 million against the cap this first year, which is just ridiculously low. It's only like 6 million guaranteed, which is signing bonus, which is stretched out over 3 years. So it's really low impact. Then next year it's 14 million cap hit. And then the following year it's 21 million, which he'll never get. So if he has a monster year and they want to say, okay, well, we'll give you 14 million for the next year, fine. Otherwise we'll just cut you. And it's a 1-year deal. For a guy who's, 29 and coming off back surgery, I thought it was kind of high risk. But when I saw the details of the contract, I'm like, well, that's actually kind of a low risk signing. And when you think about the last time they were both healthy, both beating him and then Danielle Hunter, Z had 13.5 sacks and Hunter had 15.5. So that's 2 guys. And coming to a team that the Vikings last year, I don't know if you knew, there wasn't a lot of good things on defense, but they were second in the league in sacks without Danielle Hunter for pretty much all the year. So now you bring Hunter back healthy and you have ZaDarius Smith back healthy, pass to physical. You have to think that helps the pass rush. And then they are switching to a 3-4. So they know he's familiar with that scheme. They do have Pettin in as not defensive coordinator, but he is the assistant head coach of the defense is his title. Assistant head coach of the defense.
Let me just jump in real quick.
Yeah.
The Vikings create all these really obscure coaching positions for former Packer coaches for reasons that weren't even successful as Packer coaches. I'm really not sure why, but anyway, continue on.
No, I agree. I think that in switching to the 3-4, they wanted some more people with experience with it, and I wasn't crazy about that. I know how you guys feel about that too, but he's not the defensive coordinator. That's Ed Donatel, so I'm excited about that. So, but I think they want just people with experience converting to it, and then players that know how to do it.
Packer defensive coordinator too, by the way.
Yep.
Just so you know.
Yeah, I think he's went with I think the Broncos too, and he's had some success. So I think it's I was okay with that one, but so I guess it depends what kind of ZaDarius shows up. The one that was the year 1 for the Packers and was a monster, and on I thought on all downs, and then I don't know, coasted his way out of there, and I kind of messaged when I messaged you today too, Jason. I think it was like, well, how does he not get called out on tape when he's getting blocked by Robert Woods? Like how does when you do film review during the week, how's that not
share time
culture thing?
Because he became like the first year. You're right. He signed. He didn't do much. He's a part-time player on his rookie contract. The Packers signed him for huge, insane money off of, I don't know, some old evaluation from the draft, or Goody loved him or whatever. And then he did a lot. He was very good his first year at the Packers. Mm-hmm. And then he proved himself. And then he got in the spot where I'm the man. And then he did whatever the hell he wanted. His
Mhm.
coach said it publicly multiple times that he did whatever he wanted. And at the same time, he's charismatic. He's great in the interviews. The fans love him. Oh, look at that. Make a splash play once in a while. Everybody remembers that. You make the Pro Bowl. And he just realized that if I get my sacks, I get my bonus, I make the Pro Bowl, the fans love me, everybody thinks I'm awesome. And the rest of the time, I mean, and then also I'm going to take chances. I'm going to abandon my responsibility and take chances and, try to get that extra sack, that extra splash play once in a while if I can, because that's what people remember. That's what shows up on highlight tapes. Somebody wrote this article and I sent it to you, and I'm sorry I wasted your time, but
It was
we'll
so
get
bad.
We'll get into that a little bit because they were talking about how Rashawn Gary owes ZaDarius Smith so much for his development and mentoring him, and I'm just like, Ben, before we do share time, please answer me. What could Rashawn Gary actually owe ZaDarius Smith? Why would he owe ZaDarius Smith in any way in your estimation?
He doesn't owe him anything.
Well, in my estimation, he probably
he owes him because ZaDarius had his back hurt last year, which allowed Gary to actually play. So I guess he owes ZaDarius because of his back injury that miraculously was better for the playoff game, but he was hurting for the entire season.
Didn't he have surgery though?
He had surgery from his really good doctor that he mentioned that he doesn't know his name, but he knows the name of a whole bunch of other people during his press conference for the Vikings. I watched that, by the way.
You did?
Yeah, I watched his whole press conference. It was amazing.
Share
time! Let's go. Give me the freaking play.
Anyway,
Mo's referenced this play 7 times. Can we just show it already?
Point for me is that ZaDarius, what he owes or what Gary owes him is to be the example of what not to be. That's what Gary owes him. But Gary didn't need that because Gary's a try-hard guy anyway. He's disciplined and tries hard.
I don't know what's going on. Are you stopping it, or is it stopping because it doesn't want to play?
I'll play it. Let's see.
It's like it's not playing.
No, let me see what
Jason has
here.
Control now. It's really weird.
I'll add it back in here.
It's better if Jason has control, probably.
No, it's not better because he doesn't know what the heck is going on.
You, I think, still have control. You should try playing it. It appears to be frozen. I don't know
Should
why.
I try it? Maybe I have control.
It's good. It's good.
Is it
He's
going?
Right here.
Okay.
He's right here. Well, it's kind of going, and then it's really. I don't know what's going on with this thing.
Okay. I think your connection's a little funky.
Well, there it goes.
There's moving. Okay, so
There he is. And there's Robert Woods.
Robert Woods.
194 pounds, blocking 270-pound ZaDarius Smith, as if he was 370 pounds himself, blocking a 270-pound man. And look at ZaDarius. I mean, he's really trying.
Maybe he's really just trying to maintain his gap there. It's this gap discipline, maybe.
Oh,
I think wouldn't Barnes have that gap? I mean,
maybe.
Barnes has this gap, and he's just standing there doing nothing too, by the way. Dean Lowry is the one who really screwed this play up too, though. But ZaDarius isn't even trying. I don't know what's going on. Why is this not playing? It's making me really mad. Okay, we'll get rid of it now. Get rid of it now.
Apologize for that.
It used to be way better, Jace. I hate this. I like Zoom. I hate this new one. Mo has problems. I got other things to share. Now I'm not going to share them. I'm not even going to bother.
Oh, stop. We'll give it a whirl again here.
Nope, I'm not going to bother.
Oh,
I'm going to bother.
Oh, what if ZaDarius acted like that when things didn't go his way?
That's what he does. Okay, ready?
Okay.
Enough of you idiots. Time for Ben's top 10 reasons that both the Vikings and Packers fans should be excited that ZaDarius Smith is now.
Let's hear it.
A Packer. I had to stretch it out because some of I only had about 6. So here we go. Here's 10. Number 10. The number 10 reason that Viking fans and Packer fans are excited to have ZaDarius Smith as a Viking. Am I still breaking up or what?
You're good.
Okay, number 10. ZaDarius Smith and his incredible charisma will win over the Vikings fans.
Okay.
And they won't realize that he sucks most of the time because he's so charismatic and funny that they'll just not realize that, they'll just be like, "Oh, he's so great." Because
it'll take him a couple years to figure it out.
It'll take him 2 or 3 years, yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be your favorite guy. He'll be your favorite. He'll be your favorite guy, Mo. You'll love
He's
this
already
guy.
made a great first impression.
I know.
Yep.
That's all everybody's talking about. I live in Minnesota. I've heard it all. Okay.
True story. True story.
All right. Number 9. ZaDarius Smith feeds on guards.
On terrible guards too.
If you look at his sacks, 70% of his sacks happen when he lines up at defensive tackle and he's going up against terrible
Atlanta
guards.
Falcons.
Yep, he had 3 against the Falcons in 2020 out of his 11 sacks or whatever he had. He had 3 of them against the Falcons because he really feeds on really bad guards, which is not a good thing for the Packers, to be honest, because we have Royce Newman at guard. So, but the positive spin for Packer fans is we know that the Vikings aren't going to put him at D tackle. They'll put him at defensive end or else at linebacker, and he won't do anything because he's got short little arms and a long body, and he can't get past tackles. And you know Dave Bakhtiari's going to hold him the whole entire game, so we're fine.
I know that.
So that's number 9. Number 8, ZaDarius Smith will be deployed on the edge, and he will set the edge for the Vikings. That's a positive for Viking fans and Packer fans. Because we tried to show what he does on setting the edge right there. He did a great job. Okay, number 7, ZaDarius Smith is always focused on beating the man in front of him. That's a positive for the Vikings. I mean, he's always focused on beating the man in front of him. And the Packers, and for the Packer fans is he has no idea where the ball is. He doesn't know where the quarterback is. He has no idea what any of his teammates are doing. He's not sure what the play is. But man, is he focused on beating that guard in front of him. So it's a good thing for the Vikings. Good thing for the Packers. Okay. Number 6. ZaDarius Smith has been and this is what the general manager of the Vikings said this week in his press conference when he announced that ZaDarius Smith is coming. He said, ZaDarius Smith has been a proven pass rusher for years. And that's true for the Vikings. And for the Packer fans to be excited about that is 2 equals years because it's a multiple of 1. Technically 2 is years. So, yes, ZaDarius Smith has been a proven pass rusher for years because 2 equals years. Okay. That's number 6. Number 5, ZaDarius Smith.
How does that make number 6?
Hold on. ZaDarius Smith, leadership. His leadership is sorely needed on a Vikings team that has Harrison Smith, Eric Kendricks, Danielle Hunter. They really need his leadership because that's what ZaDarius Smith talked about during his press conference is how he's a leader and a captain. He's already declared himself a captain. Hasn't even met any of his teammates, but he is a captain. He told everybody at the press conference yesterday that he's a captain. So, they really need that because they don't have anybody on the defense who could possibly be a leader or a captain.
But wasn't he a captain for the Packers?
He was 1 year.
Yeah.
And then he made himself captain last year. He made himself captain last year.
How do you mean make yourself captain?
They didn't vote him to be captain, and he got butthurt, so he made himself his own captain plaque to wear around his neck.
He made a C necklace that he could wear because no one voted him.
And now he's a Viking.
Okay, let's take a quick pause. Just
number
to
5. Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
Just a quick pause
Okay.
to reflect on that just a little bit. Because the captain one just killed me because, oh my God, the history. And also, I have a quick question for Viking Moe on this one. No, I'm not going to throw it to you yet. We'll get to that question after and it was actually off a point you said earlier, so I'll bring it up later.
Okay,
but just a quick pause. ZaDarius Smith,
his leadership.
Did you know all these things, Mo?
He talked about it, Mo. Do you watch his press conference?
So I did. I missed. I didn't maybe catch all of the clips, but I caught a lot of them. But I didn't. I didn't catch the part about the captain thing.
He said he's a captain. He's ready to lead this team. That's what he said. He's ready to lead the team. Wow. Hasn't met any of his teammates yet.
Wow.
But he's ready to lead them.
He might not be ready to play in a playoff game, but he's ready to lead the
Yep. Oh, yeah. Well, y'all know about that. Okay, number 4.
Yeesh.
Mike Pettin and Mike Smith are on the Vikings coaching staff, and they will allow Z to do whatever he needs to do to get to the quarterback. That's a great thing for the Vikings. Great thing. Also great for the Packers because that's all he's going to do is try to get to the quarterback. Even when the running back has the ball, he's going to go to the quarterback. Even after the ball's getting passed already, he's still going to the quarterback because he doesn't know where the ball is. So that's great news for us. We have two guys who we know from them being on our staff that he'll let Z do whatever. They'll just let him do whatever he wants. It's fine. We're good. I mean, but he's good. But as Viking fans, he's going to go to the quarterback. He said, I'll meet you at the quarterback.
That's right.
Even if the ball's not there, I'll still go there.
Every play, regardless of what his responsibility is, I'm going for the quarterback.
Okay, number three. Ooh. There's a very good chance that a wide receiver will be blocking ZaDarius Smith on running plays. That's a positive if you're a Vikings fan. I mean, you want to have a wide receiver blocking your outside linebacker defensive end. As a Viking fan, you want that. And as a Packer fan, we can take Randall Cobb and put him out there, and he can block him. That's great. We'll do it. We won't have to worry about putting offensive linemen on him. We'll just put Randall Cobb on him, and he'll be just fine.
How much does he weigh?
175-pound Randall Cobb will block ZaDarius Smith just fine. Number 2.
I'm going to die when I watch Packers against Vikings and Randall Cobb blocks him. I'm going to freaking – oh, my God.
Number 2, ZaDarius Smith. There's a good chance ZaDarius Smith will make one huge play a game. That's a positive if you're a Viking fan. There's a good chance he's going to make a big play. And as a Packer fan, you know that that's the one play he's going to make, and he'll miss about 20 or 30 plays. But that one play, Viking fans, he's going to make it, and you're going to love it because he's going to let you know about it. Number 2. And number 1, this is the number 1 reason that Vikings and Packer fans should be excited that ZaDarius Smith is on the Vikings. The Packers are currently paying ZaDarius Smith $11.5 million yes. to be on the Vikings. Yes. That's a positive for the Vikings, and it's a positive for the Packers. I'm just saying. If this guy's so good, why are we paying him $11.5 million to be on a rival team in our division? I don't know, Mo. Something stinks. And it's ZaDarius Smith. Wow. That's my top 10 reasons that both Vikings and Packer fans, but it's a good thing for Vikings. I mean, they're not paying that $11.5 million. They're only paying $3.5.
It's the dead cap hit. Yeah, it's the dead cap.
Yeah, but they paid it to him already in his salary bonus from years before. So it's in the cap hit. We've given him that money. It's his money. He's had it for a while. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And there you go. Those are the top 10 reasons that both Packers and Vikings should be excited that ZaDarius Smith is now a Viking. And I think I did a pretty good job. It took me a while. Once I got to about 6 or 7, I had to kind of mix them up there at the end. But
yeah, I mean, it's convincing. And I'll say that, my initial thought when they signed him, was like, I don't like this. And then you start drinking a little bit of the Kool-Aid and you hear his press conference and quoting the Purple People Eaters and then you hear this top 10, and I'm kind of going back. Like right now, my only hope is I got to hope for year 1 in Green Bay, ZaDarius Smith. That's what we get, and not years 2 and 3, right? Because I mean, he was really dominant, even against the run in those years. And I guess as a fan, that's what you have to hope for. But there's plenty of red flags and cause for concern that that's not what we're going to get. So especially with a lot of connections that are familiar with him and what he likes to do and what they let him do, apparently. So we'll see how it goes.
It's going to be interesting with the new coaching staff.
Yeah. How they're going to hold people accountable. It'll be interesting.
And it's a guy that's already a 2-time Pro Bowler. It's a guy that, sometimes these guys get in those spots where they think they're such big stuff that, who's he going to listen to? What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Cut me? What are they going to do? Bench me? Like, come on. That's how these guys think. And that's how he got with the Packers. I don't know.
But here's the other thing is as much as we give him crap because he was, not the best. He
slacked off a lot. I hate guys that slack off a lot.
And I hate it too.
Perfect example of it.
The thing is, the potential for him to make plays is there. And the potential for him to be a difference maker is there.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that's what scares me as a Packer fan, is that maybe because, the Packers cut him and they turned on him, if the Vikings get some success right away, if the defense does rally around him, if Harrison Smith and Eric Kendricks let him think he's a leader of some sort, it may lead to him being motivated and doing stuff right. And And that's the other thing. The Packers didn't have an Eric Kendricks and a Harrison Smith who were established, veteran, very good Pro Bowl players to knock him down a peg. Where here, if he screws up or if he's slacking off, I bet you Harrison Smith and Eric Kendricks would be like, dude, what are you doing? Why is the receiver blocking you like you're not, like he's 250 pounds blocking you? You know what I mean? Like there's nobody on the Packers team as players who could hold him accountable. But the Vikings do have guys that can hold him accountable. So that is a positive, Mo, that we didn't have. Because on our team, he was the guy.
Right.
On your team, he's a piece. And there are established guys there who can hold him accountable, which is a little scary if we have to play him twice a year.
Well, you'd hope he'd be motivated playing against Green Bay, right? If he starts taking plays off against Green Bay, then you kind of have your answer, right, of what's going to happen. And I hope I'm actually really worried about this captain thing now because I think it's a very low chance they're going to want to make him a captain when you have offensive players that are captains, and you maybe have guys like Kendricks, Smith, and then also Hunter that you might make captains on the defense before you would make this newcomer a captain. And is he going to be okay with that? Because it sounds like he was not going to be okay not being a captain, since he already said he is a captain and he'll make himself an honorary captain if he's not named one by the team. So I'm already worried about just the captain selection at this point. I don't know.
Well, maybe it'll be like the Packers. They'll have 7 freaking captains or 8 captains on the team. I don't know.
Well, look, the other thing that's interesting about him is I don't think he ever plays angry. I don't think he really gets angry. So for me, like, what would be his motivation to play hard against the Packers? Most guys would be like, I'm going to get, against my old team and all this stuff, right? They're up for that game because it's against their former team. But I don't think he holds on to negative feelings. He's a very positive guy, which is a plus for him as a person.
Sure.
Kind of maybe a detractor as a defensive football player, though, to be honest. Like, you got to have some edge and you got to have some anger to bring with it if you're going to be consistently, like, tearing it up against people who are trying to stop you. And I don't see that from him.
Well, somebody should show him my top 10 list. That'll make him mad.
I have two quick things, Mo. One is, were you concerned at all? Because this really turned me off as well. I was already turned off, but then when he pulled out on the Ravens' verbal commitment that he had with them, like no issue, like no flags there for you. Are you concerned about that at all? Or
yeah, I guess I thought it was weird, and I think they asked, and the media asked Quessy, the GM, about that too, and he didn't really have any comment. And I don't really know the details why, and he hasn't necessarily been forthcoming about it either. And I just don't know if I really don't know. I mean, some players have done that, in the past, and even Anthony Barr recently did that same thing.
Yeah.
He basically was signed with the Jets and said, he kind of said, I felt like I was walking down the aisle with the wrong woman, kind of a thing is what he quoted. But and then came back to Minnesota. So I can't speak for the reasons. There might be very legitimate ones, and otherwise there might not be. I don't know. And I don't know how that deal was structured. This one is 1 year shorter and more money, at least on paper. Right.
But, I mean, the total's more, but like, from based on what you're saying,
it might not be.
Right.
Well,
and
in his press conference, he said that.
What did he say? Because
he didn't say anything about the Ravens. He said he appreciated the Ravens. They drafted him, and it was and he looks he loves all those guys. But he said coming to the Vikings, the familiarity with the coaching staff was the major, and understanding probably what his role was going to be because of Mike Pettin and he said Mike Smith. He's like, he loves Mike Smith. That's what he said.
Okay. So there's that connection.
Probably had something to do with it. I think
he had connected with Danielle Hunter too at the Pro Bowl before, and they had talked about, we should play together sometime, and it worked out this way. So there may have been a couple reasons that way, but I didn't get the feeling though that he walked away from Baltimore and then was instantly being courted by the Vikings right afterwards. There was a gap of time there, so it's hard to know what was kind of going on behind closed doors and everything too, but. But it seems clear that he's excited to be in Minnesota, at least, through his enthusiasm and whatnot. So we'll just have to see.
You're going to love him as a guy.
He's got a lot of enthusiasm. And
he's a fun, charismatic, cool guy. He just is.
Yep.
But for us, we just watched too many times where it's like, man, why is he not getting, why does he not know that the pass, like the ball's gone?
Yep.
There's plays where there's like a screen pass, and like everybody is moving to where the screen pass was passed to, and he's still trying to beat the tackle to get to the quarterback, and it's like he doesn't even know where the ball is. He has no idea.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I saw an interview with him where they asked him about, why is he so good at pass rushing and whatever, and he's like, well, I spend a lot of time watching film, studying the guys I go up against, and he does. He spends a lot of time with the guy he goes up against, trying to figure out how to beat that guy or beat the players he does. He knows where the weak link is, let me tell you, because he tried to switch spots with Preston and Gary a lot. He'd line up and he'd be like, oh, wait, you got a sack? Here, you go over there. I'm going to take over. I got film of it when he played the 49ers. Yeah. Preston Smith got 2 sacks in a row or 2 pressures in a row, and then Z made him go to the other side, and then he took that spot, and then he got a sack right after that because their left tackle that they had in there was terrible. So –
well, sacks are what, edges, right, are known for. I mean,
I don't.
They don't know. I mean, we keep track of it, but no one cares for tackles for a loss or run stops. Like, cool people dive into those stats, and I appreciate those things too. And, and tackles are important and things like that. But no one really gets paid for, having a nice contained pass rush to help your teammate get a sack. You get paid when you get the sack, right? And and in a league where you're trying to get yours, and it's short careers, half of me can't blame the guy, but it's something where this would not be a Mike Zimmer type player, right? Because he wants everyone to do what they're supposed to do, and whoever the sack goes to is who the sack goes to. He doesn't care. But we also have some experience with a guy that coached it, and that was Anthony Barr. He was an infuriating player a lot of times because he's oozing with talent, and then he'll flash and do something amazing, and we're like, where's that been all game? And where they've even admitted, that he coasts sometimes. Coast was the word that they used. Okay. And Zimmer even said it, and he was like, Zimmer was the guy who drafted him and was like a big, fan of his. And so we're kind of sick of seeing the coasting here. So, So I don't know. It'll be an interesting dynamic. There's just a lot of change, obviously, with the coaching staff to see how he's going to fit in and how he'll, kind of hold himself accountable, how the team will hold him accountable to do what he's supposed to do, and how much free range this coaching staff will give him. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
All right. Since this is the Viking Moe show, I got to follow up, but I do want to just mention to you, like ZaDarius Smith and Preston Smith came to Green Bay. They were titled the Smith Brothers or Smith Bros. Then they became the Sack Bros during the first year because they both got a bunch of sacks. And then by this third year, they were broken up by me and Ben. And instead, ZaDarius Smith was riding with Billy Turner, and they were dubbed the Slack Bros. So that's what our titles were for them. So anyway, he shifted brothers, and they went instead of Slack or Smith to Sack, they went to Slack. So that's what the story is there. My follow-up question for you is this. You said the Vikings were second in the league in sacks last year.
Yeah.
Why do they need this guy?
So why are you taking the guys that got all the sacks off the field and putting this guy, Chumpzilla, who likes to play one time a game, on the field for a bunch of money? What? Explain. Well, are you concerned? Here, a better question. I'll phrase it as a normal journalist. Award-winning journalist, by the way, pointed out every show. Do you feel that could hurt your pass rush production from a year ago?
Yeah, it's probably not a fair thing for me to say in the first place because it's now a brand new scheme, right? And Zimmer, likes to blitz a lot, and a lot of those sacks came from linebackers too. And we still didn't really. I don't think there's anyone that had double-digit sacks. But really, it was a true Zimmer type of thing where it just kind of went to whoever kind of got the sack that play, and people kind of played within their role. So, and it's hard to really know when you have someone like a DJ Wanham, who Packer fans probably know a little bit about. But he I think ended up leading the team in sacks, and he's more of like an effort guy. Like he doesn't necessarily beat his guy right away, but he sticks with it. And then if the play rolls to him, he can make the play. So he got a lot of his sacks that way, and some coverage sacks and things that way too. So, and then they had some interior guys that could rush. But again, that was in a 4-3, and more blitzing and things. Now we're in a complete. And where does DJ want to play now? Is he an edge? Is he a down lineman with his hand on the ground? Is he going to play at all? Like, is that now ZaDarius Smith's spot opposite of Hunter. Is Hunter going to be an edge? I think he will be. They signed another defensive tackle, so they have this Phillips and then now Tomlinson from last year too. But who's that third D lineman? And they got another interior lineman in Jordan Hicks from Arizona who's going to play next to Kendricks. But so it's really hard to know personnel wise, switching to this new scheme, where guys are going to play anyway. But the good thing I think to know is that they have some depth, right? And some pass rushers with experience. So you hope that can continue to transition, but it's probably an unfair comparison because the schemes are so different.
All right, Ben's got a video here. What do you got, Ben?
This is example of ZaDarius Smith's leadership. So as you're looking at this play, I stopped it. ZaDarius Smith is right here. I'm circling him. Okay. He's being blocked by
on this side right here.
Oh, that's right. You can't see the circle.
I can't see the circle.
He's next to the 40. See where the 40 is?
71's blocking him.
71's
right
blocking him, yes.
Right here. Yep, 71. He's on the right tackle.
Okay. Yeah, right tackle. The right tackle of the Texans from 2020.
Whew.
Okay.
Sure, he was good.
Right, exactly. Next to him is Montrevious Adams, who is useless on this play. Next to him is Kingsley Keke, who fell out of favor with the Packers last year for reasons I don't know, and he dominates.
We never got that.
He gets double teamed, destroys them both. And then Preston Smith is on the outside with the left tackle, and he beats his by. You're going to watch Kingsley Keke destroy both of these, this center and this guard, get to Watson. Watson is going to have to go forward because also Preston is coming off the edge. Watson runs forward, and falls right into Z's lap. Z doesn't even sack him. He doesn't even bring him to the ground. They just call the play dead, and then somehow he gets a sack out of it. But the thing to watch is watch Preston Smith after the game, watch Kingsley Keke after the play, and see who goes to celebrate with Z after he makes this play. And watch their body language. Hopefully it's going to keep going. I hit play, but it doesn't look like it's moving. Son of a biscuit. There you go. And look.
He's not even down. Yeah.
Watson wasn't even down. And
gobble,
then
gobble,
Army
gobble.
crawl. Yeah.
Z's doing it, and look at Preston Smith's hips. He's right. See the guy with the hands on the hips looking at him?
Yep.
Look at Keke. He's like turned around and like, I did all the freaking work.
Kiki's over. Yeah. Kiki's like, I'm out of here. I'm sick of this crap. I just destroyed two guys. And it's. I know it's weird and it's not working right, but it's just an example of he couldn't beat the right tackle of the Houston Texans in 2020, which was one of the worst teams in football. And look there's nobody coming anywhere near him on this sack. Nobody cares. But he's the captain. He's the leader of the team. He wore himself out after a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just not. I don't know if that's gonna work for the Vikings. But like I said, the Packers didn't have an established veteran.
Look at Keke right
who
there.
can hold them accountable.
Keke basically made the play, but
Keke
he
made
gets
the
the
play.
credit.
Keke made the play, and Z's gobbling up the sack and all the extra money. The millions. He got a couple $1 million for that sack.
Mm.
And that's the thing that bothers me. With
Yeah.
This guy.
It's I think it's some legitimate red flags. I am concerned. I'm thankful that the contract structured the way it is. Hopefully get that one good year that they're hoping for, and then they can kind of figure it out from there. But we'll see. And he is 29. It's not like they're going to keep him forever anyway. But yeah,
I mean, he's like we've said before. He has the potential to be very good. I mean, physical gifts. He's got size. He's strong. I'm
sick of talking about this guy.
I think he could tune it up a little bit, but yeah, we'll move on. Anyway,
But he's a me player, and
yes, yeah,
we're not me guys. And Mo, I know
Right.
you're not a me guy either. So I just
Thanks,
don't know if
Ben.
you're gonna. I don't know if you're gonna like this guy. I just all I know. Your brother's gonna love him. You're not so much.
he'll look. Again, he's a very likable guy in the media and all this stuff. It's just when you watch his play in and play out, and don't just look at the splash plays, he's much less likable then. So heads up.
Look at that. Goody is fast becoming the best GM in the NFL. 0 with the hot takes today.
Zero's on it. He's on it. Okay, so let's talk about a couple other things. Matty Ice. We're gonna go around the NFL, a little around the NFL here. Mo, Ben, Matty Ice reactions. Well, should I go to Ben here real quick? Matty Ice, what do you think? There were people saying Matty Ice, now the Colts are a contender. He's going to be great for 5 years.
Yeah, Matty Ice went from the NFC to the AFC. He's now he went from being the 7th best quarterback in the NFC to now the 13th best quarterback in the AFC. Awesome. Great for him. The Colts have no chance. They're not going to make the playoffs.
But if they run the ball and they got Johnny Taylor and all he's got to do is throw play action passes all the time,
who's he going to throw to?
He might be okay.
Michael Pittman Jr.
That's kind of slow, but
well, they got more weapons at receiver than the Packers right now. But I think it's something where they have a great offensive line, they have a great running game. It's great.
Do they have a great offensive line?
I think that they do.
Because when the Packers played the Colts 2 years ago,
I think they're a little overrated.
I think they're a little.
I still think they're better than what Atlanta had. And
Quentin Nelson is a little overrated. I think.
Yes, I think Quinn Miners it might even be better than Quentin Nelson.
I think Quinn Miners is better than Quentin Nelson. I think Lukey Patrick's better than Quentin Nelson.
I'll give you some hot ones. Zero says Indy won the lottery with Matty Ice. Colts needed a quarterback. Matt Ryan needed a stacked team. Zero believes in the Ice. Eric, your thoughts?
I mean, he's tail in his career. He knows what he's doing. He lacks mobility, so I think it works in that type of system. So I think he'll be better than what they've kind of brought through there, right? Recently, and especially with, like Philip Rivers and things like that. I think he's better than that right now in his career. But I don't know how much he has left. But they to your point, they still need more weapons, especially outside.
Zero, we missed you for a couple weeks. You're back with a little snark. I like it.
I like it too.
So, all right. I know we talked about Z for way too long, but we had to. It's such a big signing. I mean, it's such a big loss. I mean, it's such a great advantage for the Packers that we had to talk about it for a while. And Mo, we had to let him know what he was getting into. That's the other part there. So,
and I appreciate that.
Of course.
It's just kind of old, though, right? I mean, it's such an old narrative. It's not. I mean,
sign the former Packers,
right? I mean, it's Brett Favre. It's
oh my God!
Greg
Jennings, number 11,
Bernardo Harris.
He's going to join the long line of great former Packers to join the Vikings, and how successful they were as Vikings. Oh my God, that was like one of the ones I was supposed to number one. That was be number one.
Well, I mean, Darren Sharper actually was not too bad when he came to the Vikings. Actually,
let's bring up Darren Sharper.
Right. Well, I mean, until he went to the Saints, but then Ryan Longwell actually was pretty good. And then
that's because he was kicking indoors.
1 out of 2 years.
He's kicking indoors, Mo.
Well, I mean, that worked. It worked out. It was a win-win for both in that scenario. Greg Jennings, though, not so great, and a few others. It's just old. It's just a little old.
Somehow the Vikings ruined Bernardo Harris, one of my favorite Packers of all time. I think he started 1 year for you guys, and that was it, right?
Ezra Tuaolo.
But he wasn't great on the turf. He was the slower guy. He needed
he's a thumper.
Yeah. But he was awesome guy.
I liked him.
What about Ezra Tuaolo? Wasn't he a Packer and then he became a Viking, or was it the other way around?
I
don't remember.
He was a Viking for a long time. I don't know.
I think he was a Packer first.
I think
he was one of the first guys that came out as gay after I think he retired though, and then he came out as gay.
Now he sings the Star Spangled Banner for games a lot of times.
Does he? Well, then he definitely was a Viking secondly if he's still hanging around.
Minnesota. Yeah, he's definitely there. Yeah, he's done a couple for the Vikings games that I've been at.
Eric is who's the Vikings kicker right now?
Greg Joseph. They re-signed him. He kicked pretty well last year for them for the most part.
Is he young?
That's good.
Yeah, he's a younger guy. I think 3rd or 4th year in the league. So
okay, I was going to say because I think Mason Crosby could be he could be gettable pretty soon if you wanted to just recycle that one again and be like, hey,
I think they were pretty happy with Joseph, and so I mean he did miss one big kick, but it's I think maybe not that one. I'm sure there's someone else that they'll probably want to sign soon, so it's fine.
Eric, what did you think about the crazy? We'll stay in the NFL a little bit, and then we got to get back to the NFC North. And I know Chris asked it a long time ago, but we'll get into that. We got to talk about a couple things. But what do you think about this crazy quarterback movement this offseason? I mean, insane, right?
It is nuts. It is nuts. I mean, it's weird when you think about. There's still some guys there too, like Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, where's he going? And then there's some injury things maybe with him. But I don't think he's really that good in the first place. I think a lot of people know that, and San Francisco's not going to get anything for him. So, But then, the whole Watson thing was like one shoe to drop, and obviously, with Russell Wilson as well. I mean, and what they're giving up for him and then ending up paying him, it's really crazy. And you think about winning formula, I think they bring it up every year now, right? Where teams don't win the Super Bowl if their quarterback's making more than 13% of the salary cap for the team. And because I mean, you can win when you have like a Mahomes on a rookie contract or Russell Wilson on a rookie contract and those sorts of things. It's hard to otherwise because you can't pay for the other positions. So, and teams that are overpaying for running backs and now even wide receivers, like what's the right formula? And what is the salary cap? Is it even real? Because I feel like there's times where, I mean, this team's way over the cap, and then all of a sudden we changed this roster bonus into a signing bonus, and now all of a sudden the Vikings have all this money to spend. I'm like, where is this money coming from? It's so hard to really understand. It's convoluted. I give teams credit for being creative, but you hear these things like, they're over the cap or they're tight against the cap. Like, it doesn't matter. They can always do something to sign a guy, right, to some degree, and kick the can down the road a little bit. But yeah, with the quarterbacks, I mean, everyone, you need one, right? You really, the teams that are, kind of the rarity, I think all the way back to like the Ravens in like 2000 when Dilfer won them the Super Bowl, like outside of like an amazing, like legendary defense, you need a guy who can play quarterback to some level to be successful. And I think everyone's just trying to find that guy. And especially in a draft that's kind of being labeled as not a strong quarterback draft coming up.
Yeah, I measured my hands this week to see how I compared to like that Pitts guy or whatever. I'm not that far away. I mean, what is the measurement? Is it like here? Is it here to tip?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I think I was at like 8.
It's from here. It's from here to here.
No.
Well, then I'm even further. No, I think it's
here.
it's base to tip of your longest
it's
finger.
like this. You can't.
Anyway,
see my hand.
all right. We'll have to consult that. Anyway, I was like at 8 inches. I was like almost as. So I thought, well. And I got small, chubby hands, but I'm thinking, how can that guy play quarterback? I don't know. Anyway, Eric, were you surprised that Aaron Rodgers stayed with the Packers?
I mean, maybe a little. I didn't really, the way that as the season went on and they were successful, I'm like, he's probably going to stay now, whatever. But then it ended really, obviously, a little early and poorly, right, with that San Francisco game. And so I didn't really know, and maybe he didn't really know either. But does he want to end it that way? And the other side of me was like, well, if they trade him, they're going to get so many draft picks. Like, I'm like, that's not really good either from a Vikings fan perspective, right? But then who's going to play quarterback for him, right? So I don't know. It's one of those things where
Ben Kurt.
Okay.
Maybe Baker Mayfield. We get Baker. Hey, somebody.
Baker! Hey, we can get him for nothing right now.
Gardner Minshew, Baker Mayfield, bring them all.
No, we got to trade something for Gardner Minshew. He's
so far you haven't mentioned Jordan Love, but that's fine.
Yeah, we haven't. You're right, Mo.
But yeah, so I
that's
think
why we need all those draft picks because Jordan Love, that's a great draft pick right there.
Yeah, I know they paid him a lot, but to have Aaron Rodgers back it's always going to give you a chance. It's always going to give you a chance. So I think, I'm not really happy about that from my perspective. I'm happy for you guys, I guess, if you're happy. But it's something where, like you said, is he going to retire after 1 year or 2 years or not at all? Or
after 2 years, he'll be gone.
2 years. Yeah, he'll take all
one way or another. He's either going to retire or asked to be traded or something.
He gets a bunch of money in the first 2 years, guaranteed. So he's going to get that. Because as we found out, even though he said it wasn't about the money and all this stuff, it was about the money. Okay, great. And I did want to point out the person who's most disturbed and disappointed about all this quarterback movement and all of these things happening in the whole world is the guy who we were just talking about, Aaron Rodgers. Because he spent all this time building up the narrative, spotlight all on him, and all of a sudden he says, deflates the balloon, I'm staying in Green Bay, and then everybody else, boom, 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 boom. Oh, sorry, we forgot about you, Aaron Rodgers. Oh, you're sad.
But he had a good month and a half of just everybody. What's Aaron Rodgers? He was the talk of the town.
And he also knew that he was the first shoe to drop, right?
Yeah.
As soon as he said that, then the Broncos shift, okay, Russell Wilson, right? Yep. And then the Watson thing. So he I think also knew he was the first domino to make everything else happen, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah. So
and Carson Wentz.
Yep, and he probably enjoyed, holding on to that as long as he could.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah. He could have freaking told us what was going on sooner. And then if he would have, then we could have been able to trade Devontae sooner, and we could have gotten Lukey Patrick back.
That's where we got to go next. Let's talk about the North. Chris asked like an hour ago, do we still think the Packers?
He's probably not here anymore.
No, he's probably not. But we'll get to your question, Chris. We honor it. Do we think the Packers will still take the North? Or as Zero said before, he thinks the Vikings are a big threat. I personally think the way the Bears are building their team.
No.
I think the Bears, maybe not this year. It might not all.
Yeah, I think the
around.
Bears are like a year away.
But in 2 to 3 years, people better watch out for the Bears because they're building it the right way. Ryan Poles, I didn't know much about the guy. Former interior offensive lineman. That's where he played.
Yep. He was with Kansas City. He was part of drafting Pat Mahomes. Yeah.
He's building this team with not flash, but with guys that they talked about it. They want tough guys, effort guys that play hard, play to the whistle, and are smart. And that's the culture they're building. And then Eberflus, I didn't know a lot about Eberflus, but he says the same damn thing. They're in line. The GM and head coach are in line. Exactly what they want. Mm-hmm. And they're building the team that way. And the Bears fans, some of the Bears fans are like, yeah, we like these guys. A bunch of the Bears people who do media and like YouTube stuff like we do, they're not that excited because it's not a big splash signings. But they're building a team. And if they start converting to a running team, tough team, gritty team that plays hard, you could win the North with that.
You know, at first I kind of wanted Foles because he interviewed for the Vikings GM job too, and then took the Bears one, and because I liked kind of his lineman background, like kind of building from the trenches out and all those sorts of things, and so I kind of, and obviously he built a pretty good team there, and Kansas City was a part of that in their front office, so I kind of liked all of that, and then I don't know. I guess I give him credit for going after who he wanted because no one was talking about Eberflus as a head coaching candidate like at all. It wasn't even any of the ones that no one had buzz on him about that at all. And a defensive guy, which is not really, the trend of the NFL. So he's really doing his own thing, and so he'll either sink or swim by that. But I give him credit sticking to his guns. But then he signed Dakota Dozier, and he just lost all credibility for me as an offensive lineman. You can't watch film of him and see that he is good, and he's a super nice guy. I don't mean to like kind of bash him, but it's like he just is a turnstile, and I don't know. I'm like, how can you watch film with someone like that and think that's a good depth signing? Even I just don't know. People were upset that he was still in the Vikings like practice squad, and it was elevated a couple of games for COVID last year. Like everyone's like, oh my gosh, please no. So I mean, but he's also a really great guy in the community, so I give him credit for that. But it just, but we'll see. Every move he's kind of made has been interesting, and but they also got rid of Khalil Mack, and now Hicks is walking, and they had to shed someone from their secondary. They're really a shell of their former selves, and so I guess I can agree that they're doing like the full rebuild is what it feels like. But there's nothing right now that makes me like they lost Allen Robinson. I mean, they're kind of really feeling like a total rebuild to me. They're blowing it up.
Let me go to Ben here real quick. Ben, that is the first move that Ryan Poles, the Bears' new GM, made, was getting rid of Khalil Mack.
Smartest thing he did.
We watch Eric.
When Billy Turner can block you, you're not that good anymore, Mo. Heads up. Billy Turner blocks for less than a second.
You might be a third slack bro. You're an honorary slack bro, Khalil Mack, because we watch you slack it against Billy Turner a bunch of times in Packers games. So, yeah, you're an incredible player some of the time. Fantastic. You make a crap load of money. If you're not awesome all the time making a crap load of money, get that dude out of here. Let's get some guys. They said, I've been watching, and admittedly, I know I'm a Packers fan all my life, but since they signed my guy, Lucas Patrick, and not just signed him, he was one of their first signings. They went after him. They understood what he was and the value he brought, and I'm so excited for him to be on a team that actually values him and isn't trying to replace him all the time. And Eric, I showed you what he's like.
I like him.
He makes great plays. He's smart. He knows what the hell's going on.
Very versatile.
And he tries hard all the time. Those are the guys I want to build my team with. And the Bears, that's what they're doing. So I don't care. I was watching this video here recently, right? I'm going to switch to the NBA, but it's going to relate back. Guys were talking about Giannis being in the top 75 players of the NBA all time, which of course he should be. But guys were talking about him and how he's different. And to talk with a bunch of interviews with a bunch of former teammates, said they never saw a guy work like that. They never saw a guy show that kind of dedication, that effort, all this sort of stuff. And one guy said, I think it was Jared Dudley maybe, who said, you know, I've been around a bunch of talented guys, and there are guys that have a lot of talent, but they're not guys that have a lot of talent and also commit and work and dedicate and try as hard as this guy does. Now, I'm not saying these guys the Bears are signing are Giannis, but I'm saying there are a lot of talented guys out there in the NFL, right? Everybody that makes the NFL has talent at some level. What separates you? Extreme talent can separate you, but busting your ass and trying hard, that can separate you too. And that's what the Bears are building their team with. So people better watch out. And the Packers have not been a tough team for a very long time. They're not physical. If the Bears start getting physical dudes, they might just run it down your throat. And then what are you going to, then it's San Francisco, you know, all over again. Run it down your throat. You can't stop them. You're screwed. You got a bunch of money in this guy and this guy and this guy and your quarterback. Well, he can't stop them from running the ball.
Well, you re-signed Campbell. That was good.
Yeah.
You like Campbell, right?
I mean, it's good.
He was really good.
He's good, but he's not that physical.
Sure, he's a smaller guy, but
Well,
I
he's
kind of
tall.
like the.
He's just
he's a try-hard guy.
I like him. I just don't know, you know, that you needed to sign him back. I think Ben and I talked about this. Other people disagreed. You could have, you know, actually spent a high pick on a linebacker with some speed and probably done okay. But Devondre Campbell's good. He's just not that great. He's a overall good linebacker, but he's not like a great run stopper.
The thing about the Packers defense last year, Mo, was by not having ZaDarius Smith there,
right?
They played as a unit.
Discipline.
Like there wasn't one guy who was just doing his own thing, which then forced other guys to pick up the slack. I don't know if you know this. I've brought it up many times. When Blake Martinez left the Packers and they wouldn't sign him back, and he signed with the Giants.
Yep.
They asked him, why are you coming? You know, why are you here? Blah blah blah. Why did the Packers want you back? All this kind of stuff. You have a lot of tackles. Blah blah blah. And he's like, well, my job with the Packers was to clean up the mess. The guys in front of me were allowed to do whatever they wanted, and I had to make sure that I cleaned up the mess. So that's why I had a crap ton of tackles, and they were all 5 yards down the field. Because I was the safety net for ZaDarius and Preston and Kenny Clark and all these guys to try to make plays on beat their guy, but then not know where the hell the ball was. And I had to know where the hell the ball was. And the difference between that and the Mike Pettin system, by the way, Mo, sorry, is that the system with Joe Barry was, hey, guys, you do your job. You have to know where the ball is. You have to know where the running back is. You have to be able to beat your guy. You have to be able to adjust your route. You have to take care of your zone or your man's assignment or whatever it is. Everybody do their job. Get pressure on the quarterback if that's what you're supposed to do, whatever it is. And it wasn't just that Campbell showed up and was good, and he was good. But it was that, you know, Sean Gary did a pretty good job of getting pressure on the quarterback and also stopping the run. Mm-hmm. Preston Smith did a pretty good job of stopping the run and holding his fort. And maybe he didn't get as many sacks as ZaDarius Smith got, but he made a heck of a lot more plays by stopping the running back and making sure that he didn't leave a giant gaping hole for somebody to get away. And Devondre Campbell was allowed to just play middle linebacker the way he saw it. He was able to, you know, read the offense, read where the ball was, and go make a play. Where Blake Martinez, when he was there, was not allowed to do that. He had to wait and see what the idiots in front of him were doing and then adjust and then clean up the mess. So I don't know if Devondre Campbell is that much better than Blake Martinez was or could have been. But the system allowed him to flourish, and we're glad to have him back. And I think he is good. He is tall and fast. He's able to cover guys out of the backfield and cover tight ends if needed. He's able to He's fast enough to get in the hole and make a play in the backfield if needed. And he's able to go sideline to sideline and covers sometimes slot guys or wide receivers. He's not the best at it, but he can do it. And that's awesome. But he's allowed to do it because everybody else on the team is doing their job too, including Rasul Douglas, Adrian Amos. Eric Stokes did pretty good as long as the ball was in front of him. If he got beat, deep, then he didn't know where the hell the ball was half the time. That was a problem. And Savage has the same problem. Savage is a safety who doesn't know where the ball is when it's in the air, which is really bad. That's really bad. That's really, really bad.
It's so frustrating. He's so fast, but he can't
as long
find
as it's
the
in
ball.
front of him, he's fine.
But
as soon as he's got to turn around and try to cover a guy who got past him and then know where the ball is, it's over. Him and Stokes are the same. They have the same problem.
It's a tough thing to do.
I know it is, but you're a freaking safety. It's your job. God. Anyways, so yes, we're excited. Campbell's back. I think our defense. I'm telling you, our defense is going to be good.
Yep.
And the biggest problem, of course, and here's the part that scares me the most with Packer fans. All they're talking about is
wide receivers.
What are we going to do about no Devontae Adams? How about the freaking offensive line, everybody?
Line. Ooh.
We have Royce Newman possibly starting again. We have Myers, who has played like 4 games in his career, is going to be in his second year.
Bruce says
coming
he's
off an injury.
Bruce guaranteed last week. Bruce guaranteed he's going to be better than Lucas Patrick this season. Better.
And Runyon Bunyan had some issues last year when he was playing.
I think Lucas Patrick is at Pro Bowl level for the Bears this year. Honest.
Okay.
As a full-time starter.
And Billy Turner's gone, which is good. But who's going to play there instead of Billy Turner at right tackle? Is it going to be Yash Nyman? Hopefully it's somebody. Dave Bakhtiari still didn't come back. Never really came back from his ACL from a year and a half ago already now at this point.
You think he'd be okay by now, right?
Well, you think, but he's 30-year-old tackle who tore his ACL.
Yeah. We thought he was going to be okay last year, and he came back and played 29 snaps in the meaningless game against the Lions, and then didn't play it after that in the playoff game.
We had Billy Turner
after
left
2
tackle,
weeks off,
and guess what that happened? Well, yeah, really good.
So
and then Jenkins also tore his ACL, and he's not going to be back right away at the start of the season. So as much as everybody's complaining about the wide receivers and, oh, my God, what are we going to do? Aaron Rodgers, in an interview in 2012, said, a guy asked him, would you rather have A+ receivers and a C offensive line, or an A or a B offensive line and D receivers? And he said, give me the offensive line.
Well, he holds the ball forever.
What? Right. So he's going to have some D receivers this year, but he's also going to have a D offensive line unless we can figure something out. And nobody's talking about the offensive line.
Well, how many picks
over here in Green Bay, or the Packer fans? They're all receiver. It's like, dude, he's going to get creamed.
Packers have 2 first-round picks this year, right?
Yes.
And 2 seconds?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
So, well, there you go. Hopefully they can play right away.
We did draft center in the second round last year, and he got hurt early, and then LP had to save their ass.
And then the guy that was drafted right after him, who went to the Chiefs or whatever, was the best center in football. So, there you go.
Quinn Miners, who they passed on, was the best offensive lineman in the league, and they just let him. They didn't even draft him.
Yeah,
he could have been. He could have been tearing it up.
He struggled a little bit in his pass sets, but I did like him.
He was pretty bad in his pass sets, actually. Mo.
That was first game. That was
dude. I watched him jump off the ball on a pass play and totally whiff on the guy.
That's because he's so excited to rough him up.
I know.
Quinn Miners. Oh my God,
he's great in the running game. He's pretty bad in the passing game.
Jace wants to play some of his footage now. I can just tell.
We just got Quinn. If we had Quinn Miners, oh my God! Can just imagine the marketing. I'm thinking of the marketing.
Yeah, the marketing would be like ZaDarius Smith on the Vikings. I gotta bring it back.
You would sell so many Quinn Miners jerseys. That's why they couldn't draft him, because he'd sell more jerseys than Aaron Rodgers jerseys. And then Aaron Rodgers would be butthurt about it. And then there you go. Anyway, yes, Ben's correct. The Packers, everybody's talking about the wide receivers over and over and over again,
sure.
But the Packers offensive line is a mess, partly because of injuries and also because of young guys that aren't very good and unproven. And you just spent all that money on your quarterback, and you don't know who the hell is going to give him any time to throw. So
you could look like Kirk Cousins and the Vikings.
Okay. Well, you do have Tunyon back, right? So
yeah, and Rodgers, he was back last year and fully healthy, and Rodgers never threw him the damn ball.
Well, I mean, by default, he has to be the number one target right now, right? I mean,
Well, but he's not back right away because he tore his ACL too.
he might not be ready either.
So he won't be back until like
Yep.
October, middle of October, November or something.
So we got Lazard, who falls down a lot.
And
We've
Cobb,
got
who was
Randall
never
Cobb,
very good.
who's he's very short.
Cobb
And
is,
while he's small, he might be able to block ZaDarius Smith, but he is old and slow. He's smart and he can catch.
He'll totally be able to block ZaDarius Smith. There's no doubt.
But then we have Amari Rodgers, who was, even though he's like 10 years younger than Randall Cobb, just as slow and not as good at catching the ball.
He's bigger, yeah, but he drops ball.
Not as good at catching the ball. We do have Juwan Winfrey. Juwan Winfrey showed some flashes, although he fumbles the ball like every fifth time he has it in his hands. So, I mean, yeah, okay, fans are right. The wide receivers are also a major concern, along with the offensive line.
They need both.
But it's good that we have, $50 million into the quarterback because.
Yeah, what do you think about this, Mo? Aaron Rodgers last offseason was like, he's like the people and the people and the people, right? It's the people that matter. It's the people that matter, Mo.
Mm-hmm.
And then right after he got his $150 million guaranteed extension, he was okay that Devontae Adams was gone. One of his good buddies.
Yeah.
And his other best friend, Randall Cobb, had to take a $5 million pay cut just to stay on the team. But Aaron Rodgers got his $150 million. I'll tell you that.
Yep, Randall Cobb had to
but
take
it's the people. It's the people and the people. It's the people.
Mm-hmm.
Other guys had to take pay cuts.
I mean, really, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is a selfish diva, baby, jerk face, ass butt, monkey butt, fart, piece of crap. Screw him. Give me Kirk Cousins over him.
Wow.
Give me Baker Mayfield. Give me Gardner Minshew. Give me Jordan Love. All right, no, okay, I can't go that far.
I had to tell you, since you mentioned him twice,
Gardner Minshew, he's awesome.
Because when there was talk like they could trade Cousins, and I'm like, fine, trade Cousins and his salary, get whatever you can, and then go ahead and trade for Gardner Minshew because that'd be really fun. Or I even wanted maybe even Ryan Fitzpatrick. That guy's hilarious.
That's insane.
It's probably insane, but I mean,
if you had Fitzpatrick and ZaDarius Smith on the same team, that'd be like too much crazy, happy, funny, weird guy.
Well, and Fitzpatrick is he slings it around, but they had some weapons, so I thought that could be fun. But I mean, Gardner Minshew is just has a great character. I thought that would be kind of fun too, and he could find some magic. I thought, hey, you could maybe get by with someone like that, right, and still be really competitive with the support you have around him. So I thought that would have been fun. I just wondered, most of all, what would have happened if Gardner Minshew was the starting quarterback for the Vikings. What would you do with yourself, Ben?
Well, I'd be a lot happier living in Minnesota. Here's my question though, Mo. I mean, you got what's his face, O'Donnell or whatever the hell his name is, O'Connell or whatever the crap your coach's name is.
Kevin O'Connell. Thank you.
Sure. Hey,
wasn't he the guy that was on that show, Happily Never After?
No.
Oh, okay, never mind.
But he runs the Mike Shanahan, whatever Kyle Shanahan, and Kyle Shanahan says Kirk Cousins is the greatest quarterback in the history of all time for the Kyle Shanahan offense. So, what do you think? Do you think Kirk Cousins is going to be the greatest quarterback of all time, or what? In this offense.
Well, I don't know. That's what I kind of alluded to before. They're going to try to kind of recreate what happened with the Rams, right? And that system, and we'll see. There's certainly the weapons there. I think the offensive line is slowly improving. They still need maybe another interior offensive lineman, and we'll see what they do to try to get someone like that. But otherwise the offense is fairly set, and they'll have Irv Smith coming back too. So I mean, there's certainly weapons to be good.
Smith, Justin Jefferson, who I was totally wrong about. I admit it. I said he was going to suck, and he's good.
You kind of admitted it, but yeah, you pretty much have to.
Well, he's still, for some reason, I don't know why nobody ever covers him. He never gets jammed at the line of scrimmage. He's always wide open. Like, nobody covers him.
Stokes tried to cover him.
Stokes is not that good.
No. He's not even doing juke moves. It looks like Jared Cook out there. He's not even moving fast. Nobody's even covering. He's just wide open. I don't get it.
Well, I think you need to watch a little more film. He makes ridiculous cuts in his routes. That's why he gets separation. And he's kind of like, and my brother said this to me too, like when he runs, he kind of reminds him of Randy Moss. Just very long stridey, and he doesn't look fast, but he's faster than he looks, and it throws people off, I think.
So he's kind of like me. Oh, I'm the opposite. I used to look really fast, but I was really
you were
slow.
deceptively slow. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You
was-
looked fast, but you really he's actually
Yeah,
not moving.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I think you can only hope. It's a time of year where there's lots of hope. There's still a
Lots
lot
of
of
hope.
uncertainty. Obviously the Packers need more offensive linemen and wide receivers. The Vikings need like at least 4 more cornerbacks. So there's a lot of holes left to fill, and still.
Well, you'll do fine
sometime-
against the Packers because we have no receivers. So there
Well,
you go.
It'd be an
And
interesting matchup, right?
No line now. Zero. You're
Boring.
correct. I actually, when Rodgers signed back, I was really hoping they'd keep Turner because I think he deserved Turner and Newman on his offensive line because I wanted to see him work with that and make it work. But anyway, for the good of the Packers, they smartly got rid of Billy Turner. But I don't know. I'm assuming Royce Newman's going to be out there starting this year somewhere, whether it's right tackle.
He can't be a guard anymore. He can't run block. They need to stop having him at guard.
I mean, if they're smart, they would do what we said a couple of weeks ago, which was, sign Yash back, train up Royce to be your swing backup tackle because he's not a starter, but maybe he can fill in as a tackle with more time and less confusion for him where he knows there's a guy on the outside. Okay, this is the guy I block who's right in front of me because he seemed to struggle when it was like, oh, no one's in front of me. What do I do? I'm not sure. Or the times where I start with a guy in front of me. Oh, wait, he ran over here. Now what do I do? Oh, let me turn around and look around and not block anybody. That was kind of his MO. But anyway, so yes, I will laugh if we see Royce out there and suck really bad when Lucas Patrick would only cost you $4 million a year to hang on to. But you know what? The Bears wanted him. And the Packers never did. So you know what, Packers? You can figure out which finger goes to you.
Wow.
In that
Wow.
instance.
Though,
because should have signed that guy back. He's valuable.
The Bears
Super
have
valuable.
Luke Getsy, offensive coach of the Packers, and they signed 2 offensive Packers. And the Vikings have Mike Smith, defensive coach, and Mike Pettin, and they signed 2 defensive Packers.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, maybe they see something we don't. I mean, they work with them every day, or they did for the last couple of years, right? So, I mean, I know Shannon Sullivan he's going to be fine. He's
he's a
solid guy off the bench. He'll cover somebody for a while, and he won't screw up his assignment. His deficiencies are physical.
I'll take that.
He's not quite as fast, but he won't screw up his assignment.
Yeah.
He'll make a play on the ball. He's able to read things. He's smart. So you're gonna like Shannon Sullivan. If he gets beat, it's not because he was dumb. It's because he just doesn't have this physical skills.
Sure.
But so he's like the Lukey Patrick signing.
Yeah.
But then the Bears also took St. Brown.
That was a weird one. That was a weird one for me. But I don't know. Maybe they think. I don't know. Maybe Getsy thinks he can do something.
He's good. I don't know.
Maybe he thinks if he doesn't have to, play within the construct of I need to read Aaron Rodgers' mind in what I'm doing all the time and adjust my route all the time to think what is Aaron Rodgers thinking and blah 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 blah, and I can just actually run the play that was called for me. Maybe he'll be better. Maybe less thinking and he'll be better. I don't know. Maybe. But still, that was kind of a weird one for me. EQ. I was never a huge fan, but I am a huge fan of what the Bears are doing on the offensive line and the defensive line guys they signed too. I know they couldn't get the one guy because of the physical Ogunjobi, but they signed some other solid dudes. And that guy from the Colts, that dude plays hard. Muhammad, that guy plays hard. I like him a lot. He's going to be a problem for the Packers.
Okay, we don't care about the Bears on this show. We're talking Packers.
I'm just telling you, bro. Watch out for the
Vikings.
Bears.
I don't care about the Bears. We're talking about the Packers and the crappy Vikings.
I have a Packer question.
Okay, Packers
question. Because I didn't really see much because I don't know if he got to see the field all that much. But so I think he was a 2nd round pick. Was it Amari Rodgers?
3rd round pick.
Third round.
Okay, thank you. What's the outlook on him? Because he didn't really get to see the field too much, right?
It's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good.
It is. It's terrible.
What's the problem? What's his problem?
He was relegated to. He couldn't be on the field as a wide receiver, so he was relegated to punt returner,
And he couldn't do that.
And he struggled at that.
Okay.
So the fact that he stayed on the roster and was active for a bunch of games made 0 sense because they couldn't even trust him to field punts. He looked uncomfortable. He looked unsure of himself
I
Unsure
wouldn't
of
want
his
to field punts either. That's like the last job I would want to do in the NFL.
very difficult.
Like-
Very. I mean, unless you're gonna call for a fair catch every time.
Yeah.
Which I would.
Mike Pryor did it, and he was good at it.
Yep. And eventually we talked. It was such a problem for the Packers. We talked about that. Having the guy with the best hands just call for a fair catch every time. I don't care if you can return it, just catch it so we get the ball back.
Yep.
But he really struggled at that. He wasn't productive I expected him to be more explosive or have more acceleration, but he seems to kind of run at one pace and that's it. And it's not fast. And then the other part is he's not as physical as I thought he would be either. So I was like, what is this guy? I don't get it. I don't get it. And he certainly was very underwhelming in his rookie season. So I don't know.
He's got good size. His makeup is, like he's a solid built guy, but he's a little bit slower, and he doesn't have quick. He doesn't have quick hips.
So
and stuff.
me.
Yeah, he moves like a tight. He does move like a tight end, but he doesn't have the height. So it's. I don't know why Goody traded up to get him. We still haven't figured it out. They moved up to grab him, and then they never used him because they traded for Randall Cobb.
Yep.
And that was the other thing. He was so bad. He was so bad at punt returns. They put Randall Cobb in a punt return for one time, and he freaking flubbed up the punt return.
Yep.
And then coughed up the ball. So then they had to put somebody else back. I don't even know who they put back there after that.
I don't recall. Special teams was kind of a
It was
blur
so bad.
and a mess.
But we got Big Sakia!
Sakia's going to clean it up.
We got Big Sakia, Rich Big Sakia.
Yep. Clean it up. Should have been head coach of the Raiders. Instead,
Yep.
he's our special teams coach, Eric. Special teams coordinator.
That's exciting.
That's how good the Packers coaching staff is.
Yeah.
The guy who should have been a head coach is our special teams coach. While
His
you're
name?
taking garbage guys who were out of the, Mike Pettin, making up a title for him to bring him into your
He got
organization.
fired by the Bears when he had the same title with the Bears last year, by the way.
and you're bringing in Mike Smith, who somehow kept Rashawn Gary from reaching his potential by keeping him off the field and let ZaDarius Smith do whatever the hell he wanted.
We got to play ZaDarius Smith as much as possible. Don't play even in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers when it's obvious ZaDarius Smith has no idea what's going on and getting his butt kicked. At least, and you're losing by 2 double digits. At least put Gary in there and see what he can do in the playoff game. But they wouldn't even do that.
Speaking of coaching staff, you know what else is weird is that they have Bud Phillips' grandson. So Wade Phillips' son. Wade Phillips was known for his defense. He's the offensive coordinator, though. So they have his son, who's the offensive coordinator.
That's all right. Sometimes guys they're good when they do that stuff.
It skips a generation.
Right. What, being a good coach?
Yeah, it's just like in Teen Wolf. Sometimes it skips a generation. The werewolf thing skips a generation. Hey, I gotta say something. I'm really disappointed in Disney. Olivia today, because she had school, didn't have school today, and then she's on a trip to Washington D.C. We had to buy her a dress last Sunday because she got all fancied up, and it was way too tight for my likings, to be quite honest. But whatever, I'm just a dad. What do I know? 15-year-old, almost 16-year-old daughter. But okay. Anyways, she's watching the Red movie from Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Girl turns into a red panda bear or whatever.
Right. Yep.
And I'm watching this movie and I'm like, I've seen this. What? It's freaking Teen Wolf. This is just Teen Wolf. It's freaking Teen Wolf. I've seen this movie a million times from 1985.
I thought he was upset because they were talking about puberty in a Disney movie, but it's really more. It's really because he thinks it's a Teen Wolf spinoff.
The bigger question is,
it's just Teen Wolf.
Did you also watch Teen Wolf 2 with Jason Bateman?
Yeah.
Watch it. I own it.
Oh.
No, he's had a nice career after that.
For sure. You rebounded nicely.
Hey.
Well done.
And they recast Styles. That was the biggest problem with that movie.
That was a big problem.
Bateman. They should have kept the same Styles, but they couldn't bring him back.
Same styles.
And they hired a new guy, but they still made him the same guy or the same character. And it's no, that's not Styles. Styles is way dorkier, yet still cooler than that guy.
Yeah.
That only
but
works.
Chubbs was still there. They brought the same Chubbs back.
Right.
For Styles.
You needed the same styles.
That only works when you can bring in a guy with like the quality of Mark Ruffalo, if you're going to replace somebody like that. But anyway. Heads up.
Was that
All
the new
right.
Styles? Was it Mike Ruffalo?
No,
he's
Mark
the-
Ruffalo, the new Hulk. When Ed Norton was like,
sure, yeah.
was originally the Hulk, which is super
Right.
weird, and then he wanted a bunch of money, and they're like, we'll just get somebody else to do it. And Mark Ruffalo is like, hey, I'm from Wisconsin. I don't need that much money.
I like Mark Ruffalo. He's awesome.
Sign me up. Well, of course you do. He's from
okay.
Wisconsin.
That's
He's
not
okay.
really the reason I just like.
He's no Tony Shalhoub.
From
think
Wisconsin.
it's-
Well, also from Wisconsin, Tony Shalhoub. Continue on, Ben.
Oh,
I think that was
it.
done. That Red Panda
Teen Wolf.
thing.
I was just
yeah.
saying, Red Panda's just
Oh,
pretty
okay.
much Teen Wolf. And
That never
and
occurred to
like,
me
"Yeah, it's
for
not
one
Teen Wolf.
second.
And then we kept watching some more, and I'm like, it's Teen Wolf.
There's no basketball.
Oh, wait,
Okay, but the
meant-
mom is also the bear, and it's just like the dad was the
Sure.
werewolf, and it's like it's the same thing. And
But
then
the dad
and
was
everybody's
not, oh, yeah.
afraid at first, but then they all accept it, and they become super popular. And then at the end, they have to figure out how to be the same. You're the panda, but you're not the panda. But you are.
God.
But you got to become really understand who you are, but still also be the panda. Oh, be the wolf, but actually have people still be the Michael J. Fox, and people love the Michael J. Fox.
Did you enjoy the movie then, Ben, or not?
Teen Wolf had a better story, because in Teen Wolf, Michael J. Fox chose to be the Michael J. Fox, not the wolf, and they won the basketball game as with just true grit. Lukey Patrick did.
It's a
In
verb now.
the Red Panda movie, spoiler
Bears
alert,
did,
at the
yeah.
end, she goes full diva and becomes the panda and makes a crap ton of money and sells souvenirs as the panda girl and
Takes a
uses the
$150
panda
million
to get a whole bunch of
contract.
money. She doesn't become her own self. She uses the panda instead of she makes the panda more important than her, where in Teen Wolf, Michael J. Fox makes the Michael J. Fox.
So it
more
was
important.
different than Team Wolf then.
At the end, and that's why it's not as good. So if you want to watch the Red movie, just don't watch Teen Wolf. It's much better.
Go back, for all you young people who don't know what Teen Wolf is, go back and watch it.
It's
So
really
you
good.
probably shouldn't watch it if you're a little kid, because
A
there's
little
some
scary.
stuff in there.
Eric
like,
Gardner, did you realize? Did you know this? Did you?
And then he's like,
Oh yeah, that was the scary part.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, that was pretty good.
"Sorry, Zero. No, I spoiled it all."
No,
Not at all.
He was gonna. Ben. All
Sorry,
right, Mo.
Zero.
Did you realize that? So remember how a handful of weeks ago, Aaron Rodgers, it was reported he's coming back to the Packers. 4 years, $200 million contract, $50 million a year man, right?
Yeah.
You remember hearing all that, didn't you?
Yeah. Yep.
And then Aaron Rodgers came back and was like, saying some things on McAfee, putting out a post.
Where it wasn't officially signed yet.
Was it this contract I signed? I just want to clear some things up from this faulty media reporting that's going on.
Yeah.
And so, do you know that during that time, one Aaron Rodgers said, because I want to screw with the media and make them look bad, let's switch this contract to 3 years, $150 some million. So it's basically the same amount of money per year, but let's change it a little bit, Packers, so I can do this to the media. And that's the reason it's 3 years, 150 instead of 4 years, 200. So Aaron Rodgers could have a little bit of face saving and a little bit of one-upping on the media. Did you know that was true?
I didn't know that's how it played out, to be honest with you.
I don't think that's how it played out. Jason
It's true. It's
he's been
true.
talking about this for a couple
True.
weeks, and he's way over
Bruce denied it.
exaggerating it.
True.
Just calm down with your. It's Diva Baby. We know what he does.
He didn't have the attention
Mo, do
anymore.
you think that the Packers
he's
should
like, I
change their
gotta be-
name to the Green Bay Rodgers? Because he pretty much owns the team now.
GM, quarterback, head
These
coach.
rhetorical
He
questions,
makes the
these
most
feel
money
rhetorical
by
to me.
anybody.
Play
I mean, it's
caller.
pretty much the Green Bay Rodgers. Change that G to it. All right. All you got to do is switch it up a little bit.
But according to you guys, that's only for 1 or 2 more years, right?
Yeah, then you change it back to the Packers after that. And then in a year, it'll be the Green Bay Loves.
Oh,
And
no,
it's-
they got to
and
move on by then.
You thought the 80s Packers or 70 Packers are bad. Wait till you get to the Love Packers, the Green Bay Loves.
I want to get the guts, and I want to get Quinn on the team, and let's just get a whole bunch of bulldoze offensive linemen, and just who cares who the hell the quarterback is? Brett Favre, I don't even think he can really hold it together mentally anymore, but can he come back and sling it once in a while, hand it off? Fine.
What?
Come on back. Brett Favre out of retirement.
Okay,
New quarterback.
You've been going for almost like 2 hours, and I think you finally lost your mind.
Crazy time. I know.
I think we're about done.
Anyway, Viking Moe, before we wrap up,
Yeah.
I want to give you the final say here. with your Vikings? How are you feeling? Are you feeling
New head coach, new awesome pass rusher.
Yep.
How are you
lots of good
feeling as a
stuff.
Viking? Let's go.
Well, it's a good question. I don't know yet. I mean, I really don't. It's exciting. I think Zimmer and Spielman, their time was clearly up. It wasn't working anymore, and a lot of people thought Zimmer was a little too old fashioned. And I think in some ways he was. I think he still was really still had his edge with the defensive parts of a lot of things, but I think he had so many restrictions he put on the offense. I'm kind of excited that now you have an offensive minded coach that maybe will open it up more. And I think that's what everyone wants to see. I think that's a really exciting. You have all these weapons and like, no, let's run the ball half the time, and which is just not today's NFL. And yes, you have Dalvin Cook, but he can also catch pretty well out of the backfield. We're a pretty decent screen team. There's ways to get him the ball. You know, Jefferson and Thielen and now Irv Smith coming back. You have weapons everywhere. Let's open it up. Everyone's saying, let's open it up. And Zimmer's like, no, let's possess the ball. If we score, great, but let's possess the ball so the defense doesn't get tired. So I think everyone's excited for that shift, hopefully, of mentality and a new defensive scheme, brand new. So there's so many unknowns. Part of it's like you don't really know what to expect, but at the same time, there's optimism with some change. And hoping to see what a different coaching staff can maybe do with the personnel that you have, since a lot of it has really been retained. You haven't really lost too much at this point, but you still have questions at corner, and you've filled some spots now on defense through free agency, and the draft is still coming up. So, and maybe at least one offensive lineman I'd like to replace. But it's a year of optimism, but you still have Aaron Rodgers in the division. So, and a Green Bay team that's won 13 games 3 years in a row. So they're obviously doing things well. They have Jair Alexander coming back to that defense too. And they played pretty well without him. So that's kind of a scary thought too. So the defense might actually carry Green Bay a little bit more, but if they get, the offense going with a few more weapons for Rodgers, then they're going to be good again. So I think while I'm optimistic, I think it's going to be tough to really, at this point, it's still early, but at this point to think that they could really get over the top and beat Green Bay this year in the division is, to me, tough to see, but there's a lot to unfold. So, but I'm optimistic. I think they'll do well. I think they'll finish better than the Bears and the Lions, which doesn't say much, but that's what I think.
Well, I was going to ask if you thought they could compete for the division, and I think
they could. They could, but I think I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns, but I think if they open up the offense, which we still haven't seen yet, right? Could they be really, really special on offense? I think they could. So Kevin O'Connell can unlock some of that stuff and like the way they did with the Rams this season, then yeah, I think they could. But I think the defense needs to be revamped. They've not been good enough the last two seasons, and maybe a new scheme and some, Anthony Barr will probably be gone. But they still have some decent players over there. So we'll have to see kind of what they can do because they weren't too good at a lot of things last year. They got Ryan on, they got passed on, and they got some sacks, but I think was the only kind of positive thing. They went through all kinds of different cornerbacks, and they might bring back Patrick Peterson, but they haven't yet. So, and I don't really know how much cap space they have. It's a mystery. I mean, I think last I read it was around like 11 million, but what does that really mean? I don't really know. So, but I think everyone kind of agrees you need an interior offensive lineman, some corners, another guy up front. So there's a lot to do still, but I think you got to find a way for the Packers to find some kind of weapon on the outside, right? I think it's fair to say, objectively, as much as I'm obviously skewed, that they don't really have a threat at receiver right now, a legitimate threat at receiver. So they need to address that somehow. And it's hard to find a receiver that's a rookie that has immediate impact sometimes,
Yeah, really hard. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Yeah, it never happens.
Right. Well, I mean, it happens, but with every Justin Jefferson, you have a Jalen Reagor who's, went right before Jefferson, right?
You could have as an Aaron Parker.
Oh, Parker.
You can have is a Jalen Darden, who was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year, who I wanted the Packers to get, who's a jitterbug crazy little guy who's freaking juke moves craziness. Could have used him. He's not like a downfield threat, but he's like a mess with you guy.
Well, and you have, Ruggs, who got obviously the trouble and everything, but then you have, who was the guy who went to the Denver Broncos, who hasn't really broken out yet, but he was a high
Judy went
pick.
to the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, and he hasn't really
CeeDee Lamb
panned
went
out
to
yet.
the Cowboys.
Right, and Lamb's been pretty good, right? But I mean,
If he
can you really bank on even a first round receiver to be productive or uber productive? Not necessarily.
Ayuk.
You could say maybe 50%. And Ayuk wasn't he early second round, but still.
Yeah. No, he was first round.
Yeah,
he was pretty
He was
good.
drafted before the Packers could.
especially with Aaron Rodgers, again, because it takes so much time to build trust with the guy.
Was Dwayne Eskridge any good last year? Playing third fiddle behind DK Metcalf and Lockett. Nobody knows.
I don't think so.
That was the guy I wanted the Packers to get. He was a pretty good return guy and pretty fast, and they took Amari Rodgers instead.
You just have to think you can't 100% rely on the draft to find something, and you can certainly try to address it there, right? But
we have to do that this year, Mo, and they have to be productive players this year.
Yeah, we need draft picks that are going to play. The Packers
we did the Viking Randy Moss. We traded away our top flight receiver for a first-round pick, and now we have to replace him with a first-round wide receiver.
Don't draft Troy Williamson.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm worried about. We're hoping we do the other one. We hope we did the Stephon Diggs trade to get Justin Jefferson trade. That's the hope that we did. Hopefully that's the one we did, and not the Troy Williamson one.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for.
Yeah. Well, that will be pretty important, right? I think it's I heard some rumors though, like maybe OBJ to the Packers.
No.
I don't think
he's going to be hurt for half the year.
Well, yeah.
The only rumor that I like that I only heard from one guy is Mike Florio, and it's because I like this guy, is Chase Claypool. I'd like to see Chase Claypool. Mostly,
is he a free agent right now, or is that be a trade?
But
maybe a trade.
He's with the Steelers, and what the hell? What are they going to do? I mean, come on. Maybe we'll give him a first.
Juju's available, I think.
Juju sucks. The one I like, the free agent I like is Juju signed by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Did he? Okay.
As well as MVS.
Jeez, retool.
My guy is Jarvis Landry. I like Jarvis Landry to take over the role of Devontae Adams, the possession receiver.
I like Landry. He's good.
Who can actually block. Well, he's the same age as Devontae Adams.
Yep.
So we figured this out last week. And
he's kind of fallen off. I wonder if it's because of his quarterback.
Okay, it's not his quarterback, but it was injuries and some other things. But I like Landry, but we would still need to draft a guy who's like take it over to the top guy.
You could have had Amari Cooper for like a 5th-round pick.
I know. I don't like Amari Cooper that much. I don't want to trade for a guy.
You need some. Well, you have enough.
No, I don't want a high-paid guy that makes $20 million a year. That's the whole point.
Well, you need a veteran.
I can't remember if I talked about this.
Let's get Jarvis Landry for like $7 million. That's fine.
That's fine. Same.
I think something like that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it would make a hell of a lot of sense. That's why I should be the freaking GM of the pack.
That's true. Eric, the most important question.
Oh, okay.
Will the Vikings go 9-8, win a playoff game, and then lose a playoff game, so Kirk Cousins can be one game over 500 at the end of this year in his starting career?
Maybe. Who knows? I like those odds. I'll take those odds. But I remember someone like Matthew Stafford had never won a playoff game until last year. And everyone's going to say, oh, he had bad teams. Well, he had Calvin Johnson. He had terrible teams. But he was 0-3 in the playoffs and then finally makes it there and has a run, wins something. So there's certainly past performance, but anything can happen, right? New offense, open it up. Let's see what happens. Have some fun. Go down fighting, shooting, whatever. I'm down for some shootouts instead of someone that's grind it out and hope the defense holds on, which obviously it hadn't done very well the last couple of years. So I'm up for something different, and as long as they, like I said, are competitive, and I think they're definitely approaching this offseason. One thing you can say about the ZaDarius Smith signing, smart or not, is that they're approaching this offseason to be competitive, and their GM called it a competitive rebuild, is what he called it, whatever that is.
I think your new GM's a ding-a-ling.
Okay, well, thanks. But I think it's something where, they know that they have some pieces in place to be competitive, right? And hopefully contend. But they also know that there's some older guys and some bigger contracts they need to work their way out of to try to rebuild and for the future too. So I appreciate the approach. I like competitive football. I'm not going in saying, oh man, they have absolutely zero chance. I think they have some chance. I'd like more of a chance, but I'll take some right now and hopefully just to get to enjoy the season. So
as always, Viking Moe, marathon shows when we get together with you. Sorry if it wasn't a good one, but maybe it was. Who knows?
It was a great one. We had Ben's top 10 reasons that everybody should be excited about ZaDarius Smith.
I know. We spent too much time on ZaDarius Smith. I was off tonight.
Oh, it's never too much time. Never too much time.
Never too much time. He's going to be a great locker room. No, he's going to be a great guy in the media.
Yes.
Super.
And your fan base will really think he's a charismatic,
blame
fun-loving guy.
Everybody else.
Yep. Mm-hmm. He'll win over your fan base.
Oh, yeah.
But
well, you definitely have me more concerned than when I came into the show, so I guess
I did it.
Because
Zero says I purposely find stuff to make him look bad, and I
because
do.
Eric on this show, we talk the truth. Sorry, bro. We don't sugarcoat it.
no,
ZaDarius Smith,
okay. No,
overrated. Sorry, I know he's a 2-time Pro Bowler.
We're paying him $11.5 million to not be on our team. I mean, that says it all.
It reminds me of that Moneyball scene, like with David Justice and like everything. And he says, Brad Pitt says, I'm like, the other team's paying you more to not play for them, right? I mean, that's basically that scenario. And you got to hope that motivates somebody a little bit. But, maybe he's not wired that way. But I think
so. He just
if he gets double-digit sacks this year, is that a failure? Maybe if he gives up, blows a bunch of running assignments. I don't know. But, I mean, it's going to be hard to convince people that it's a failure when you get double-digit sacks, right? Because that's what people care about.
Well, I guarantee, Mo, we will be watching just to see what happens because I want to know.
I can only hope. I mean, I'm sure what I'm expecting is in-depth film breakdown. Hopefully that works better than tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this.
And I'm sure you will. You'll watch every Vikings game just to see if he gets blocked by a wide receiver.
I won't.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
No, I won't. I will watch the Packer Viking game closely. The other matchup I want to watch is Kenny Clark against Lukey Patrick when the Bears play the Packers because everybody keeps saying how great Kenny Clark is and how crappy Lukey Patrick is, and I just want to see it in the game. I want to see who's the guy that really sucks and who's the guy that's really good. It's the guy who's one of the highest paid, best defensive tackles in football, or some scrub the Packers kept trying to replace all the time who blocks until the whistle. I don't know. One of the guys I think is better, but we'll see what happens in real life. I don't know.
Do you know who's not saying that? The Bears. A lot of the Bears front office and the Bears coaching staff and bunch of the Bears fans. They love Lucas. No, nobody's talked about Lucas Patrick this much other than me before in his life. Not even when he was in high school. And I'm telling you right.
Akeem Hicks? He's still out there.
Yeah. But I'm telling you right now, no one's talked about Lucas as much, but the Bears fans and the Bears people are talking about him all the time, and they love it. They love the signing. They love what he's bringing to the team. Poles likes him. Went out and specifically got him. I think he's going to have I think he's going to be great, and I know he will because when you play that hard, it's hard to fail.
And he's going to be a great leader for Dakota Dozier, who's going to somehow
That's right. He's going to turn guard. And when he turns Dakota Dozier around, Mo, you're going to come back on this show and be like, man, I did not realize how good that guy was.
Yeah.
Damn.
Lucas Patrick. That would be that would be a miracle. That would be a miracle.
And one quick thing I was thinking of.
This show's never going to end.
I know, but no, I was just going to say, Kenny Clark had a quote, Ben. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, I did not.
When Lucas Patrick was signed, they were like pulling up, Bears fans were looking at it and they were pulling up quotes of different people. Of course, Rodgers had a nice quote about him saying how he's super smart, blah, blah, blah. He's always in the right spot, knows what he's doing.
I mean, I'll say this about Aaron Rodgers. He's a diva baby jerk face butt monkey, but he does, when there's guys he likes, he does say nice things about him.
Yep. But Kenny Clark. There you go.
No, if I like you, I usually give you crap.
Oh, that's true.
That, Mo. Every day I told you sucked, and I said some other words to you that I can't say online.
It's the opposite.
Every single day. But really, what I meant was, I love you, Mo.
Anyway, Kenny Clark pointed out in a quote when he talked about Lucas Patrick, he said, and this was as they were teammates or whatever, and he's like, yeah, if you're not if you're not playing hard and you're not playing to the end of the play, he's a guy that'll knock you on your ass. That'll take you out.
Yeah.
So Kenny Clark knows what he's in for. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, well then Kenny Clark, maybe he'll hold him out.
We'll see. Maybe Kenny Clark will play hard every play those games.
We did sign a guy to line up next to Kenny Clark from the Chiefs.
That's right.
Who was a Seahawk for 4
Bernard
years or
liked it.
5 years.
Yeah.
So I can't remember what his name was. Jerron something or other.
Yeah.
So look out, Mo. We got some defensive. We got Kenny Clark finally has help. Besides Snacks Harrison for like 3 weeks at the end of the year in 2020.
God. Viking Moe, good luck with all of it. Oh, last
Thanks.
thing before we go.
Oh yeah, hey, one more thing here, Mo.
There's
Will you
always
come
one more
back?
thing.
Will you come back? Will you commit to coming back for the first round draft special?
Draft special last year.
What's the first round
Draft special. Hafeman Bros draft special. I mean, we
did it
this
last
year. What the?
So, like during the draft? Oh,
You did it last year, don't you
I
remember?
remember now. I remember
The
now.
NFL
Telling you
draft.
You were going to
We
get Mac
talked-
Jones, and you kept
We
saying,
talk
God,
about
no.
the NFL.
Remember how you said Mac Jones was going to suck, and then he became the best rookie quarterback last year? Remember,
He was
Mo, when you
not
said that?
He was not the best rookie quarterback last year.
Who's
Are you
better?
insane?
Who's better?
Oh, wait, I was thinking about that.
Yeah,
San Diego
okay,
guy.
that's right. That's right. Mac Jones was the best.
Yeah.
Mo.
And I said he
Not
was. And I said the
DePaul.
Vikings should have drafted him, and instead they got Kellen Mond, who couldn't
No,
even
I
see the
didn't-
field.
I didn't want Mac Jones.
They asked Zimmer whether Kellen Mond's going to see the field. He's like, "Why? I see him in
know.
practice. He sucks."
I know. Well, is what it is. Zimmer didn't want him. I don't know if you knew, but I guess there's this rumor that Spielman and Zimmer didn't talk for like the last 2 months that they were there, like at all.
Yeah,
So
not only that,
they were just not on the same page.
Zimmer
at all.
also never talked to Kirk Cousins.
Well, right. So there's
How
all
do you were
kinds
the
of
head
problems.
coach? You never talked to your starting quarterback.
So we'll see. We'll get some talent reevaluated, and we'll see. But
think
no,
that's
I
an
still
upgrade
didn't want.
just
So
that
yes,
there.
sorry. Thank you. I thank you for jogging my memory. Yes, I'm happy to commit to tuning in and to you guys and during the draft and all those things, all the things. When is
Okay.
the draft? What day is that on?
I don't
April
know.
what?
I don't remember, but we'll do our draft special. And I just, wanted to remind you there's the NFL, which we talked about for the last 2 hours. Plus, we did a draft special the last couple of years, and we had you on last year. And so I was just trying to see if you'd commit to coming back again. And
For
talk
sure.
About,
Yeah.
Okay.
Happy
Get
about
excited about another offensive lineman drafted by the Vikings in the first round.
that. I don't think so.
Okay,
It's
fair enough.
almost
Corner. They're going to get a corner this year.
almost guaranteed to be a corner unless it doesn't fall right. Then who knows?
Well, let's hope so. Then maybe that one less corner the Packers can draft in the first round. Sounds great.
We don't need a corner this year.
We don't, but you'll probably do it anyway. All right. Viking Moe, you're awesome. As always. Ben, you're yourself. And
Yeah, I'm the
me.
best. You said it.
I'm always number 2 in the rankings. All right. Peace out, everybody. It's a long one. We love you. Take care. Award-winning journalist. Catch
Bye.
you next week.
Tell me why you're still happy. Did I treat you? Got to find